Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary live chat. If everyone wants to give their own little introduction, I'm Axel.
I'm Michelle from Pajama Let's Play.
What's up, guys? It's Kyle the Player from Kyle the Player.
I'm Craig, the Gummiphone.
I'm Kafei's Corner. You might know me as the crazy individual who was going to eat a disc if Sora wasn't in Smash Brothers.
Oh, yes, I did see that video. Hi, I'm
Yes,
Metropolis Days.
and
Call me Metropolis, Metro, whatever you want.
MysticMal is on his way. We're still starting, and I will add him when he gets here. But we have so much to talk about, so much. I just kind of want to go around. Keifi, you first, I guess. Give me the first thing you noticed from the anniversary trailer.
I would say we finally got a Dark Road release date. So, I mean, that's something. August. It's almost a year since the last one because we were supposed to get it in September. But hey, I will take it at this point. And I do have to say, Kingdom Hearts 4 surprised me. That shocked me because I thought we were getting Baron Rex.
I agree. We can kind of go around Metropolis Days.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same. I was gonna expect Verum Rex or something similar to that. The mobile game, the what is it? It's on the tip of my tongue. Missing Link. That was pretty interesting. I was definitely like, wait, is this a mobile game or is this a console game? No, it's really interesting. And of course, Kingdom Hearts 4. I was like, you know what? This is good. I'm glad I waited for this. This was a good long wait, but it was worth it.
I agree. Michelle?
Strelitzia being with Sora. That's what stood out to me the most. Because I'm already, I recorded a video about Strelitzia, so it was fresh on my mind. So to see her right there, it's like, there's Data Strelitzia. Okay, all right.
Nice. Gummiphone?
I was actually very interested in this Missing Link game. I guess some people were saying that this character looked like Luke Sword or whatever. I don't know. I just I got home at 4 a.m. last night and was so tired, and then I woke up this morning like it was Christmas Day and just took it as it came,
Yeah, I hear you. The first thing I noticed was because I do like my collision theories. I just finished talking about Sora and Tidus having similar looking dark sides because Tidus never grew up and Sora was young. So seeing that like dark side with the one tendril just made me think of Seymour from Final Fantasy X, and I just like couldn't get it out of my head.
He looked he in some way Sora reminds me of Tidus right now. Or like I don't know, he looks like Squall, Tidus, and Cloud.
Yeah, he looks like Squall. Yeah, I agree. It's so interesting to see him in that art style too. How do you feel about the art style?
Oh, I think it's lovely. I think this is a great direction for him.
No complaints here. It was a bit of a shock, but I think we'll take it. Especially, it kind of had to be like that in Quadrata. Maybe it'll change if he goes back to reality, but we'll see.
Right.
No, I agree. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I believe it's running on Unreal Engine 5. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I really feel like it reminds me of 7 Remake. Like it just has that like I don't know, like it looks like it's very like stipply in a way. You know what I mean? Like the graphics are really crisp and clear. I feel like the particle effects and all that stuff are insane.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
PS5 exclusive? What do you think?
Am I gonna have to buy a PS5 for this?
It looked nice.
I think that like I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where it looks like it could run on PS4, but I think they might release it only on PS5.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. It'd be unfortunate, but at least I would hope that they do PC at the same time. I'd hope they, at least do that. But
I think they will
Right.
because Square Enix in general is like gearing up for like the next generation of content and video gaming.
true.
Exactly. Like, there's something really there has kind of maneuvered this game release in general. Like 3, I feel like we got everything, every like part of the game, and this game we got absolutely nothing. Like a very interesting marketing tactic. Do you have
I
anything
mean,
that you specifically want to talk about?
Sora's new look for one, at least for me. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what everyone's talking about is just how sweet he looks.
And I like it a lot. He
so
looks
cool.
like he's like 20 or something. He looks a lot older. It might just be the art style, but
I
like,
agree.
it looks like he's 20.
Yeah.
So can we agree that the Strelitzia reveal confirms the idea that the master brought her through Graham Central Station instead, and she's not the true dandelion?
I believe that's true.
I can see that, yeah.
Hello,
I agree with that.
MysticMal. How are you? Sorry, I just wanted to make everyone aware in the chat that MysticMal is now here. So
Greetings.
yeah, keep going.
So no, I was gonna throw that one out for you guys to chew on because I don't have much after that. I mean, that was a big one I noticed. I need to go over the trailer again. I actually need to watch the trailer again because I only watched it twice this morning. I was like, I'm too tired to think about anything else. I need to see video.
Yeah.
I was waking up like every 20 minutes throughout the night. They just kept drip feeding us information. It was great.
So I actually have a theory about Data Strelitzia being in Unreality if this is an okay time for that.
I'd say.
Perfect time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
So the only thing that I stand firm on, right? Like I put out a lot of theories. I cover a lot of subscriber theories, and that's great. The only one I'm firm with is that Unreality is a realm of video games.
Yes.
So if Data Strelitzia is in Unreality with Sora, I think that confirms for me that it's a realm of video games because where else do you put Data?
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
agree with that.
I like it.
And like, yeah, it's so weird because the world that Sora like goes to, and then we see Strelitzia, it looks so like, I don't know, like perfect. You know what I mean? It looks very meticulous, as almost as if it's trying to simulate data.
I think that it's a metaverse, you know? Like if
Oh,
it's a
Lord.
world of video games, it's kind of a metaverse. Like I'm like hanging tight to that VR theory, but that's definitely what it is.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I can agree. Before we all kind of went around and said like what we first noticed, Mal. So if you have anything that you
Oh
first
yeah, of
really
course.
noticed when
Yeah,
you watched
my
the
bad,
video.
guys. It's because like I don't know if Axel told you, but my internet crashed. So yeah, so it just broke all connection to the the live stream and whatnot. But how I feel personally about
Gotcha.
it is one thing for sure is his look. I really like it. I like how like more mature he looks, if anything, right? And even
Right.
with his clothes, it does seem a little bit weird to see Sora wear kind of long pants. Like it's kind of weird to me. But like, I definitely like the clothes. The clothing's nice. His haircut is pretty sweet too. I like it. But like,
Right.
I just wish like his hair looks more. It resembles like to me personally, it resembles more like maybe like Brain's hairstyle. Like it's
I
kind of
agree.
Yeah.
closely
agree with that.
resembles that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I agree.
and me personally, I feel like we need more specification because like is the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 like the secret ending? I mean, like when they show Quadratum and whatnot, like is it more like, is it like, okay, what am I trying to say? Is it more is it canonical, right? Like, does it apply to the story, or is that just a sneak peek that's non-canon?
The
Or is it
ending of
like,
Yeah,
Kingdom
which
Hearts
ending?
3?
yeah, like what is that? Because you see how he looks then, or does what we're seeing inside of this trailer, does it take place on the same timeline? Did Sora meet Yuzora yet? Or are we
Yeah,
playing
I have
as Sora
questions
through
about that
through
too, because it
Sora's
looks like a
eyes?
simulation.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, are we playing as Yuzora through Sora's eyes, or or his point of view?
Yeah,
If essentially are
I
they the
saw
same
that.
that's
Yeah.
person?
my thing.
So I
Yeah,
don't
Yeah,
understand
that's
enough
my
about Final.
speculation.
I don't understand enough about Final Fantasy. But when, like, is it possible that when Sora loses, he gets crystallized, so his body is saved? But regardless of whether you win or lose, his heart gets pulled to Quadratum,
yeah,
and he exists in a data form.
Ooh, I like that.
true.
That's
Yeah,
I
but then
interesting.
saw a
at the same
theory.
time,
My theory is that like,
yeah.
ooh, you can go first. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying at the same time, like for a counter argument that Pajama Let's Play says, some people do like at their point of view of it, and some people, as in other content creators and subscribers, they feel like that that ending, like the bad ending of Sora losing, is the canon one. You know what I mean? Like that's considered the real
Yes.
part of the ending, and it just it just depends really.
Well, obviously
I
they
think
want you to
either
see
way.
both for a reason.
Yeah, like either way, it still happens either way, but still, like me personally, I just feel like Sora losing is the probable one. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. My theory kind of goes into that, like the whole like collision theory thing, because I feel
yeah,
like to save Sora, you would have to kill him outside of his dimension because Xehanort has him trapped in this like time loop where Xehanort's gonna keep coming back. And until
that is
Sora
true.
like leaves the dimension and then creates a history in that timeline, he's not gonna be able to traverse all other dimensions, meaning like
Yeah,
bigger collaborations like Zelda or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like they really have to enlarge what the small Disney worlds are in comparison to like everything going on for Square.
yeah.
And speaking of that, I just wanted to say really quick. You said bigger collaborations. Did you see the side by side comparisons of the forest part in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer and Endor from Star Wars?
I
There's
saw
like a
that on
I
little
did
Twitter,
part.
not.
actually.
You see,
I saw it.
I did not. Please link me. I would love
yeah.
I
that.
will
Send a
try
link
and
to
look. There's a
the
lot.
Discord.
That's interesting.
That's that's very, very interesting.
Yeah,
How do
I
you
don't know
feel
entirely
about
how
okay,
I
so
feel about that.
I have a weird theory about the end of the anniversary trailer where it's just showing Goofy and Donald walking alone. I think Goofy and Donald somehow made it to the Mirrorverse
Hmm.
so that
Interesting.
Sora can have a game
ability.
in Quadratum and Disney could make a whole like line of IP of just Disney for now. Because I feel
Like
like in the next
Kingdom
game,
Hearts
all the
Disney,
Kingdom
but
Hearts characters are going to go over.
hmm.
I
Posted
like
it in the
that.
That's
Yeah,
like my weird
chat.
theory.
Do you think that whatever person they encountered there was like somebody we can easily identify if we put some thought to it, or because like your first impulse would be like, oh, Fire Hades or something like that, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I feel
yeah.
the same like that too. Like,
I
it's
yeah.
just like, okay, the see the thing with Hades is, we would have to hear, like, instead of Japanese voice acting, they would have to make an English version of the trailer so we can actually like interpret things a little bit more better.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just gonna be honest, none of us know Japanese here, right?
True
And
that.
No.
from how
No.
we can take it, and we don't know if they changed voice actors for the Japanese dub. You don't know if the person that plays Hades in Japan, we don't know if he's
Yeah.
alive or not. We don't even know like his
Right.
personal life or
Yeah, I was
you
just gonna
due to
mention
the
that. Like
You
pandemic.
know what would be really interesting for Quadratum, for Hades specifically, if like they made him a different element. Instead of fire,
Hmm.
he was like different. Like if they took Disney characters that could exist in that realm, but made it like unreal to us because they would all be kind of their opposite self.
Hmm.
but it
makes
would
sense.
also create the correction of Disney characters in the Kingdom Hearts realm being themselves.
Mickey Mouse's nobody is in Quadratum.
Yeah, like something like that. 'Cause it
Mickey
would make
Mouse is
sense.
Yeah,
heartless as a gigantic corporate entity.
Exactly.
That honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. That'd be really funny. Actually, someone just said in the chat, Maximilian. So he said someone found an AT-AT foot in the forest in the trailer. Star Wars is KH canon. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I posted it in the
True.
chat too. I mean, I don't know.
All right, look, I feel like they should leave that separate.
Wait.
Honestly. Like, that's a little
Yeah.
far fetched for me. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I posted it in the Discord if you want to check, but I don't know. I mean, it looks like it. It looks like an ATST. For me, I'm kind of a Star Wars nerd, so I wouldn't be surprised. But if any of the movies they would do, I would be excited for Return of the Jedi, which is Endor. Because then you can get Darth
Ooh.
Vader and Luke Skywalker and the Emperor and do all that. That would be... Because for me, I made a
would
video a
love
while ago talking about, like, Disney would want to do their own sequel, like the sequel movies that they made, they would want those to be. But if it really is Endor,
Right.
this could be really good.
True.
I think that story arc could teach Sora something very important about his parents.
His mom, yeah.
Dinner's ready.
His mom.
Moldy lasagna.
I mean, it would
on
make
his
sense
desk.
it makes sense if Sora has problems with his mom in Kingdom Hearts and has to deal with someone's father in Quadratum.
Trying to connect the song.
Oh, gosh.
Sora's probably old enough to drink, but, like, still hasn't talked to his mom.
Right.
How old is Sora now?
He's got to be old.
I
He
think
looked
he's
old.
like
He's
17.
25.
He was 6. Is he 16 in Kingdom Hearts 3? I think.
Who knows?
I mean, remember, a year passed.
Who knows his age?
Yeah, like
Yeah, but
I mean,
like it's
14
also
in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then 15 inside of Kingdom Hearts 2 due to the year gap of him sleeping. And then we don't know the time skip between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Recoded / Dream Drop Distance. And then there's another time skip between Dream Drop Distance and Kingdom Hearts 3. And then another one between Melody and Memories and Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's up in the air.
Right.
Maybe they're just years.
Play lottery and smoke.
I'm guessing like 17-ish, maybe 18, but at least in Kingdom Hearts 4, he looks like he's 20. Could just be the art style, but looks 20.
It's
He
the
looks
reality.
he aged the
looks like
same way as
older.
Neku in Neo: The World Ends with You.
I really
The
gotta
art
finish that
style,
game.
like if you could take The World Ends with You, Neku's like image, and make it in like Unreal Engine, I feel like they would look the same, honestly.
I would like that
I
a
feel
lot,
like Sora
actually.
just
That would
has
be
a
cool.
combination of all the Final Fantasy character faces. Like he doesn't really look
mean,
like
I
Sora
don't
to
know.
me, but he looks good.
Did you see the Project Noise mod for Kingdom Hearts 3? Someone made like a Neku model from scratch. It looks really good in the Kingdom Hearts 3.
I actually heard about that.
Yeah,
Someone
it's
said thoughts on the
definitely nice
artwork.
looking. So,
Thoughts on the artwork?
Whoa. JLo Reviews just said something really interesting. That Sora is in real Quadratum game world and Riku is in Sora's dream.
Yeah, I was looking at that. That's an interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow. That could work.
Someone else was asking, who do you think the second cloaked figure is standing up by the Master of Masters?
In my reaction, I was
it's
talking
Lucio.
about that. Like, I don't think it's Lucio because remember, this is like we don't know when this is taking place. Because remember, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and what we're dealing with right now, we don't know if there's a time skip forward or if it takes place directly when Sora fades away. So and we know that when Sora fades away, that's when the Foretellers comes back. So
It could be young Xehanort. He's got a cloak too.
Yeah.
More Xehanort. The Xehanort saga never ends.
So no Xehanort, no Lucio, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It could be. It really could be
could be
anyone. Like,
Lucio.
everyone likes to wear. It could be Mickey. It could just be Mickey, but really tall and slender. I don't know. It wouldn't be. Sorry.
No, because there's a formation for the ears.
Say, fellas.
Yeah.
We could just do that line again.
Oh
was
my
really
gosh.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse joined the gang.
Yeah, right. Say,
Supposed to
fellas, did
change
somebody
their
mention
height
the Lord
before.
of Sharpness? Yeah.
So if we think unreality is a world of video games, going on what was said earlier, does everybody think that Smash Brothers is like lore or canon to the Kingdom Hearts series now? Even if it's a small, minuscule way.
There's a possibility.
Yeah, I think it's
I
a
believe
little
it.
bit. Just a
I
little
think it's
bit.
like the Olympus
It's
Coliseum, a place to do tournaments and level up, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
no, I can see that.
I mean, it's kind of
Definitely
like
so.
Ralph Breaks the Internet, you know, where like there's all
Yeah,
kinds of shit to do, and every website is like a building and stuff.
Which also
Yeah.
connects to our
Google.
reality.
yeah.
Exactly. That's my first thought too. Um, Something that's like really unnerving me about where Sora ends up is that I think that it's a Data Strelitzia. I don't think it's actually her.
Right.
Yeah, no, I could see
Because we
that.
saw the
Like,
Master
I
Blasters
think
taking Data
I
Strelitzia
think
out
that
of the Vita Cross.
right, I think that the Data Strelitzia wouldn't know that she's Data either. So Sora would be going through this world not knowing he's in the Data realm with Data Strelitzia and then have like this moment where he has to kind of like find out that there would be two versions of her, you know what I mean? And like which one it's like if this data version has this real fully realized life, right? But there's this full like actual Strelitzia that needs to be searched for. Um, I feel like Sora's gonna come into a problem where he's like, well, how can I leave the data Strelitzia and go to the real world when the data Strelitzia still has to be saved?
That's
Because when
interesting.
she would be put in the data world, she would have all the memories of right before, like before her data was copied.
And see, I think at some point Sora's going to put the pieces together because he's got Roxas that he has experience with, and Tron, and other such things. So it's not a foreign concept to him that he could be in a data world.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
You know,
can see that. I
Like
mean, we've seen it before.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the way that they connected Dream Drop Distance with Kingdom Hearts 3, they're connecting Recoded with Quadrato.
the fact that it was mentioned in Kingdom Hearts 3 means it's going to be more important later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Geo Review also said, did you notice the supposed master's voice was entirely different than in KH3? That's the thing. We don't know. Excuse me. We don't know until we get the translated, the dubbed over version for English. We
Yeah.
won't know if it's any different or the same. They,
Yeah.
they could just be dubbing it over
Right.
just to trick with us.
Exactly.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, you know, we don't know the personal lives of the Japanese voice actors, so it's kind of hard to tell from right now. We would have to wait. At least until like, you know,
Yeah, true.
game shows happens like Jump Festa or, you know, those ones.
I just hope that we get the actual like event. Like I thought we were gonna get them both at the same time, but I guess that's gonna come later. I guess they probably had to
Yeah.
subtitle it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
probably get that in
I
like
mean,
a
I'm
couple
glad
of
they
weeks or
gave
so.
us what we got, honestly.
Of course. That was
Like,
more
I
than
Oh, of
did
enough.
not
course.
expect anything. Like, I did not expect anything after the first like little bit there. Like when we got to like the fourth part with Donald and Goofy like in the darkness, I was like, there is more. Like,
I,
what
Yeah.
else
I know.
do we have
Actually,
to
I wanted
analyze
to
here?
ask.
Credit teams.
I wanted to ask you guys about that. What do you think that is? Because I saw a tweet on Twitter. I was scrolling through Twitter like all day today, and I was someone said, I forgot who it was, but someone said that that font that they use, the Magic in the Making, is kind of what Disney uses for when rides are under construction when they're being built. Like I
Yeah.
believe in the Tron ride that they're building right now, it's the same thing. They have Magic in the Making.
Yeah.
That's what they use for in construction. So I don't know if that's the Disney Plus show or if that's, you know, just something else entirely.
Yeah, what was that? Like, was that actually part of Kingdom Hearts 4? Was that a new thing?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. So for
Up
the
in
first two for the
Right.
first two trailers we got, like the mobile games, we got that they were on mobile. Kingdom Hearts 4,
Yeah.
we didn't get what it's going to be on, of course.
Yeah.
And the last thing, there wasn't a
Exactly.
mobile anything. So we know it's on a mobile game. It could be a game, it could be a show, we don't know. But we can at least rule out it's probably not a game. Maybe.
I mean, if it is a game, I think they went with Mickey because they can't go with Sora.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
True.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
When do you think we get
Disney Plus.
Kingdom Hearts 4 released? Like a release date for the actual game?
Definitely during the summer. Because remember, D23 is around the corner. So, I mean.
Do you think this summer or do you think next
year?
Yeah. This
I feel like it's going to be next year.
Wow.
How the game looks, we're definitely like a year and a half in development because Kingdom Hearts 3 came out 2019 and then Remind 2020 and then Melody Memories, that wasn't really a hard game to put together in the first place. But not to not to demote what the developers are doing, but let's be honest, you know, Melody and Memories wasn't that in depth of a game. Like they didn't have to make combat sequences and stuff like that, but like other than cutscenes, but like when this gets revealed and how it looks, like how Sora looks and how buildings look, the only thing they really have to like touch up on really is some textures here and there and combat, you know, so there isn't really much they have to look at, but it definitely looks like it's a year in development. So I feel like we're going to get at least a release window by this summer or maybe by the fall, which would be Tokyo Game Show time.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's fair. They already have
I could
a lot
see that.
built up from Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
I can't really gauge
Right.
to when it's actually going to come out until we get.
Waited 11 years for a game, so I mean,
yeah.
I
can't really gauge until when the game comes out until we get like the translated trailers, like the dubbed over trailers. Once we start getting those, that's when you know it's getting close. But at least for now, it's a little bit ways off.
I still think because it was part of the 20th anniversary celebrations that if we don't get it in the summer, like was suggested, I think that we will get it before March 2023. So like next year, but early next year, just before the anniversary ends, like the year-long celebration. That's what I think.
Well, there's something interesting my bad, not to cut you off, but like something interesting that Instant Messenger Sama said is that Square won't release 2 AAA titles in 1 year. Yeah. You see, that's debatable because they did the same thing like before in the past, you know, where they would release one game and then don't release another. Like they would release another shortly after that. So it's not like it's not like it's impossible, but at the same time, it would only align up like correctly to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like, are we gonna replay Kingdom Hearts 3 or would you want us playing one of the mobile games until Kingdom Hearts 4 does release?
The mobile game has a closed beta in summer, which is going to be probably Japan first, and then probably America, and then the rest of the world.
Australia and stuff.
But I don't see it releasing until Q4 of this year because closed betas always take forever.
So that's
you got to do open beta.
I agree. Yeah,
that's Kingdom Hearts 4 though. What about Missing Link? Like what?
Yeah, I can't wait to play that.
Honestly, wait! Before we get on to the next thing, I have to backtrack a little bit to what Metropolis Days wanted to talk about. The outfits. Have any of you seen that like Disney like Star Anime or whatever it's called? Like it had like
I saw that.
Like Kingdom Hearts, but it's Disney. That's what Sora's outfit looks like.
It does look like that. I'll say the animation on that wasn't amazing, but like
I agree. It's not the best, but it looks just like Sora's like hoodie and pants.
It does.
I don't know the name of it.
The only thing was that whoever that kid was had like the hood and it had Mickey ears on it, but that was the real difference. Yeah. It was more red on his too.
Right. All right. So Missing Link. How do you feel about Missing Link?
You see, like I even made like a theory about like. Of course, we didn't know what Missing Link was about until now. It was just revealed. But I actually made a video about a theory about what's going on, like the backstory with, you know, Brain and Ephemer. And, you know, we see Lushu is in that trailer as well. So it's pretty much aligning that my theory is coming true. So, you know, I'm definitely like proud of that. But, you know, one thing I feel like is just what really like what happened. Like I can't wait to see what happens, and I love the gameplay definitely. You know, one thing I don't like is how those like different versions of like you know how like in Kingdom Hearts Key we have the normal medals, but now we have like platforms like statues that come on the screen. I don't really like that. I'm not a big fan of that, honestly.
They have to promote themselves. I get it though. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just
Yeah.
wish it was something 2D, and if they do that, don't let it come in the middle of the screen. Like I want to see what my character is doing, not be sidetracked.
Yeah.
You know, and
The combat.
yeah,
combat
like
in the game looks so much fun.
Combat looks
Yeah.
so good.
I know my phone is not going to run this. The thing I saw a couple people
Time
talking
to
about
upgrade.
this might be some like Pokemon Go kind of Kingdom Hearts game.
yeah,
I won't be able to
Yeah.
emulate that on my computer.
yeah,
It
like
feels very Pokemon Go.
yeah.
I
Like,
kind of
I
hope
feel
it's
that
not.
they're trying
I
to push
hope
it
it's just like a
everywhere.
multiplayer game. I really
a
hope it's just
Yu-Gi-Oh!
like a
Duel
regular
Links.
multiplayer game.
Yeah. What if it's
I
like,
mean,
what if
he's
it's
running up buildings.
VR, like AR somehow? Like
Yeah, I
environmental.
can see that.
I think that'd be cool. I
That'd
think
be
that'd be really cool.
But with these gas prices, I don't know. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
The craze
Unless
is
you
a
get a
little
bicycle.
high.
I mean, that's oh no.
I mean, they were running pretty
Right.
fast in the trailer. I can't run that fast personally, and I can't run up a building. So
Yeah. That's why we play video games.
Andrew Pryor.
exactly.
You check the news, see Metropolis like scaling the Empire State Building.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get my suction cups out.
Andrew
Go
Pryor
ahead,
says,
Axel.
honestly, this mobile game, what do you think it will connect to or pick up from? That's interesting.
Which mobile game though?
Missing Link, I think,
Um,
right?
Missing Link. Yeah.
Missing Link.
Okay.
Wait, is
Because
Missing Link
Wesley
mobile?
was off, you know, because we got to see him in the trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We know-
Missing Link is mobile, unfortunately.
That sounds awesome.
That could
But
pass
what
as
if-
like a that could pass as like a console game. I wouldn't be surprised. The graphics look really good.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
I
It's
feel like
definitely running
Missing
on
Link
Android.
is their
Dark
way of
Road?
like getting.
Because Brain's in it.
He is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it takes place in between. I've been hearing it takes place in between the 100 years, in between Union Cross and Dark Road. So like in between there somewhere,
Yeah.
which is why it's called the Unwritten Era, I believe.
That's what I
That's
did
what it
my
was called?
theory about.
Yeah.
The other thing with that was I'm losing my train of thought. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay, somebody else take it. I don't got it.
So with the Unwritten Era, that also tells me it's a world without Lushu, because
At
he
least
has
not yet.
no name, which is writing down everything through the Book of Prophecies.
I also think the Unwritten Era is a book without Sora because Jiminy writes everything down.
Fair.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Makes
say.
sense.
Okay, so there's like two parts that we don't really have enough information about. And that's like what happened when Radiant Garden became Hollow Bastion, and what happened during that time between Union Cross and
Yeah.
So if that's Missing Link answers both of those questions in one go, I think that'd be satisfying.
And this is kind of interesting because it's it's like an old like Victorian style like
Yeah.
Scala Asylum. It's like different. Like,
Yeah,
I
like-
heard someone say it was like an old version of it. I'm not sure what they
It
meant.
know,
looks like it. I'm
I-
not sure if anyone's played Stranger of Paradise, but I don't want to spoil it. But it
It was
looks
good.
like a dark world and a light world.
At
Yeah,
the same
no, I can
time,
see that.
Like it looks like the way the dark world looked in Stranger of Paradise, how it's like that purpley hue, gray tones and browns. You know what I mean? It's not
And
the
how
Well,
it was
it
in
very-
like
0.2.
bright blue Scala.
it very much resembled
Yeah.
Luxurion, for I believe that's what it's called. It's the capital of light in Final Fantasy 13, or Lightning Returns. That it was specific because like you saw baby Xehanort born, and then you saw that old cloak person dying, and like those were things that
Right.
were explicitly like not possible in that world, you know. But what it seems like is like it's like instead of being the end of time, it seems like the beginning of time. Like where I don't know if you guys saw the movie Soul yet, but there's like the guy dies and like is going to the great after, and like he like tries to run off track from that and ends up in the great before, like the world before everybody comes to be born or whatever, you know. So maybe it's something like that.
So
Hmm.
Axel and I were actually talking about this the other day. But if young Xehanort can split Toy Box, then it stands to reason that the Master of Masters or Xehanort or whomever can split Scala. So the Scala we saw in 3 might be one that Xehanort made, not the true Scala, which is what we saw in Union
Right.
Cross.
Definitely. I
And
always
the
thought that
reason
was one
why
that
it could
Xehanort
be
made.
different is because Xehanort was using his dreams. So dreams have a form of light in them. So it would be the light Scala in Xehanort's dreams and not the actual Scala. Because that's also where Xehanort could hide his light.
That is true.
Sure. How do you think,
I'm thinking
not to get back off the mobile game, but how do you think Darkness is going to get into Unreality? I know Geo Reviews asked how Darkness getting to Game World Unreality by choice or placed.
Yeah,
I
you
think
see,
that maybe
Placed.
it's because of Sora. He's like dragging all the darkness there. Maybe?
Well,
It's-
the darkness is gonna go where the Keyblade goes.
Exactly. That's a good point. Exactly. Established in
So
Kingdom Hearts
if
1.
we tie in my theory from earlier that Unreality is a realm of video games, then whatever happened at the end of Game Central Station could easily put them in Unreality. Like it could be a link.
Yeah, like a kind of tunnel or connection to it.
Like we have no idea how many video games are in Game Central Station. We only know the ones we saw in Wreck-It Ralph.
Right, and Wreck-It Ralph, it was just
Pokemon.
representing a plug. What is it? A power strip?
It's the cable.
Yeah.
Kai the player says Pingus. That's very, very nice. I thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Oh, that's good.
hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say is Darkness in the game realm, Unreality, Quadratum. I just feel like it is. I feel like anything with a heart has darkness no matter what, right? The only person that doesn't really have darkness would be someone like Kyrie, right? And just because she's a princess of heart, but we know that anything that has symptoms of having a heart has darkness involved as well. So we can pretty much assume that anything has a heart because, I mean, Woody and Buzz had a heart too. And, you know, that pretty much proves that things that would necessarily be unreal in real life or nonsense, well, fiction, that would technically be a person that has a heart. So it's pretty much there by nature, really. It wouldn't be there by choice or placed, but it would just be there naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
The level
Like,
of darkness, that's a different story.
What do you
even
guys think
in
of this?
Dream Drop Distance, Sora fell to darkness when he was tricked. So everyone falls to darkness except for Kyrie, but you know, everyone else.
Yeah.
What do you think of the distinct lack of Kyrie? Because she's just like nowhere to be seen. And I know people were really hyping or hoping that we were going to get an Aqua and Kyrie game.
Yeah, that's one thing I feel like is we should definitely have a Aqua Kyrie game. But like I say, I'm actually going to make a video about how Kingdom Hearts 4 should start. Like for me personally, but I feel like it should start off with Aqua Kyrie, and then it starts off with Riku, and then we get dragged into Sora's timeline. Like basically that part of the story would serve as maybe like a tutorial, like kind of how Roxas was in Kingdom Hearts 2.
So I'm kind of
see that, yeah.
I'm kind of concerned that they're going to say Melody of Memory was Kyrie's game.
Oh no!
I mean, you can't even play as Kyrie.
Anxiety.
No.
I like
I'm
Melody,
getting
but it
stressed.
can't be Kyrie's game. No.
I mean, I don't
Peach.
want that. But, like,
No,
I don't have a lot of hopes.
You know, I understand. Like, it's just
Hope. I mean, I really don't want to agree with you, but I feel like they're gonna do that. And if we do get something, you know, maybe we'll be able to play as Kyrie in the next game. But
I mean, they
feel
went
like,
out of their way to make like, Kyrie playable in Remind, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, you
sure.
can
I
play
mean,
as Kyrie once in
Some
Melody and Memory. You can play as her once. Melody and Memory, but that's it.
I mean, just think about it. Like Sakura and Sakura from Naruto and Kairi have a lot alike, right? They have a lot of things in common. So her sitting on the sidelines isn't too much of a what word am I looking for? It's not a far subject when it comes to these like Japanese video game / anime companies. So not to make it sexist or anything like that, but a lot of the times when they have strong female characters, they don't want to show off how strong they are until later on. Because I mean, let's be honest, Sakura didn't really get spotlight till at the end of Naruto Shippuden or even Boruto for that matter.
100 healings.
Yeah, like it's
right.
It's
I mean,
because
Tifa a little bit from Final Fantasy VII. Like she holds her own, but like Cloud's still the main star. Except for Yuffie. Yuffie kind of, obviously for the DLC, Yuffie is the playable.
I actually played Integrate for the first time last weekend. I bought it on PC, and I actually want to stream that, like a playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And wow, that was really good. I was really impressed with that, and I'm glad I didn't spoil it for myself.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So actually, So Andrew Pryor, I think that's how you say it. He said, "Okay, where is Riku? Will he fight Yuzora or help him fight Gigas and find Sora? Because that's the thing no one's talking about. Where's Riku? Where's his redesign? I want to see Riku too."
That's the thing.
I like the idea of him being in Sora's dream. Like I thought that was a really good theory.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Well,
but
he wasn't.
But like, why would Yuzora be there? Well, no, Yuzora would be there too, I guess.
He was in
What
his dream.
if?
He was looking for. They were looking for clues about Sora, but he woke up from that dream already.
I mean, that could be the dream that he was having when he woke up from it. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised.
But I guess Sora could be taking that particular nap. I don't know.
Yeah, in his 4K bedroom.
The characters in the Kingdom Hearts realm, apart from Sora being stuck over there and Kairi, right? What if all the characters were like, "Hey, Kairi, you need to train with Aqua," right? And then they all leave, right? But then they all get scattered in those worlds, and we have to go through them as a different character, like Aqua or Kairi. So they're kind of connecting them
I
all
could be done with that
in that way.
I want to know, and really because I'm going to be doing I'm going to post my Larxene video later tonight. I want to know what's going to happen with Elrena and Laurium. Like, how does this tie in now that we've got a Strelitzia reveal at that? That really changes things.
So I actually have one of my subscribers named Dreamer Rose. I don't know if she's here today. Maybe she'll watch the replay. But she sent me a theory in my email about Laurium and Strelitzia. So the gist of it, because I'm going to dive deeper into it in my actual video, is that her heart joined with Laurium's, just like Ven did with Sora.
That's exactly what I thought about it.
Yeah.
And then there are other ties that kind of show that they're that she's part of his power.
How is Laurium going to find Strelitzia if she's in Quadratum?
Well, let's think about it this way, because he became a nobody and he lost his heart. So Sora did that too, and at that moment, her heart was released. So I guess like he had Strelitzia's heart, and
Sora kept Ven and Roxas's hearts. Well, he didn't have Roxas at the time, but he kept Ven's heart.
That's true.
Yeah. But like you've got that special nobody that Marluxia has that resembles Strelitzia.
Yep.
And it's kind of like a nominee nobody, except it was like not a human nobody,
And something interesting about that is that it has 2 sites, not one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has one on each side.
True.
And it totally looks kind of like Eden from Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I could definitely see
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Strelitzia, if she actually died in Union Cross. And unless her heart went into Lorium's or someone else's, if the heart and the body perish together, then that's final world level for them.
Yeah,
So if
I
she
could see
did in
that.
fact die in Union Cross, she stays dead.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
how do you feel about like I don't know if you guys saw like the actual like standing like the easels, like the paint easels, where it was kind of like the S, R, and K for like Sora, Riku, Kairi.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that there was the K for Kairi? Like we've only ever got Sora, Riku, Sora, Riku, Sora, Riku, and this is like the first time we're seeing something, especially art-wise, that has Kairi kind of really involved in it.
Hmm.
Hopefully, pointing towards a playable Kyrie in another game. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
We
that's all
need
it
that.
boils down to, really.
Yeah.
I hope we get a bunch of playable characters in this game, like Sora, at least Sora, Riku, and Kairi. At least flesh them out a little bit.
Yeah.
I hope
That
it's
would
not.
be very nice.
I hope it's not like 3, but instead you can actually level them so that they're usable. Because going from Sora with Ultima to everyone else in the graveyard is bothersome.
True. I definitely I feel like, okay, how I feel is like Kingdom Hearts 4 should be played in like chapters, kind of, where we can play as one character in that world or one character in that scene. Or like, for example, like, you know how like at the end of, not the end, but in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts Remind, we know that Riku went to go see the Birth by Sleep trio and they went to the Realm of Darkness. We should be able to play as that. And
Yes.
Kairi we should be able to go through Aqua's Mark of Mastery exam, and we should be able to see what the not Destiny trio, but see what the Twilight trio is doing. We should see what Shion's doing, Roxas is doing. And there's actually another thing where I said
Right.
where I was talking to when I was theorizing with Axel on a video, right? And I really hope that the end of Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever next game happens, because who knows, we can possibly get another game in between Kingdom Hearts 4's release. But like, just like how Kingdom Hearts 3 was still around, but then Kingdom Hearts 2.8 came out. So like, one thing I feel is Roxas like should have some sort of like play against Yuzora. Like, I feel like that they're perfectly matched, right? Because Yuzora isn't necessarily a character with his moves resemble darkness, but then the only character we know that has a perfect balance is Roxas.
I agree. Like my thing is like Yuzora has this red and blue eye, right? So in Final Fantasy context, blue crystals are the most pure, red are the most corrupt. And the fact that darkness don't exist in like Quadratum makes me feel like Yuzora can be a hero and a villain somehow.
Yeah.
Like it's just
kind of like an anti-hero. I mean, he's kind of just trying to serve himself, but also, if he can, help others. Like, he's trying to help Sora.
Yeah, definitely.
right.
Hey guys, can I?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I add something?
Yeah.
It may not be what we were talking about, but you guys remember the
You're fine.
artwork? You guys remember the artwork? I think it was last year. It featured Riku, Roxas, Sora, Kairi, and Axel, and they all had on normal clothes.
Yeah,
well,
I
did you guys
posted on the Discord?
Yeah. So you notice how it's the same outfit Sora's wearing in the trailer, right?
It is. Yeah, I saw.
So assuming assuming, because we know that Riku's coming to Quadratum, is that gonna be the outfit he's wearing when he comes over?
I hope so. That thing looks amazing. He looks amazing in
I
the
hope
leather
so
jacket.
as well.
Looks pretty.
That's why I
I
was
hope so as
saying
well.
that the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 would be non-canon. So we see them they're inside of the same landmark, but then there's wearing same attire. Their hair is the same, their outfit is the same, everything is the same, and we don't know where Yozora is. We see that the Master of Masters is there, but then the way that it can be interpreted is the Master of Masters was supposed to be inside of Sora's version of Quadratum, but then when you look at Riku's version of Quadratum, Yozora's there, but then it doesn't make any sense. Like, that's why I say it's just non-canon. It just gives us a look of Kingdom Hearts 4, but doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a weird theory about, like, it connects through all the clothes and Axel specifically. I mean, I hyper focus on this character in general, but so if, like, I feel like Leon is Axel in the Kingdom Hearts realm. Like, they're two halves of, like, if Leon's the Final Fantasy counterpart, Axel is the Kingdom Hearts counterpart, because Leon has 3 names, Axel has died 3 times, and they both don't want to go back to some, like, outfit or change the way they look until something specific happens. And Axel's going through that right now. Everyone's changing their outfits, and he still wants to wear the cloak.
I mean, the same thing with Roxas. Like, when Roxas and Xion come back, they don't change at first, but I believe they do change after. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, Shion's wearing, like, the, like, cut off black.
Oh yeah, the dress.
Yeah,
like the summer dress, and then Roxas is wearing his Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, but Axel's the only one. Leon's the only one that didn't change.
Yeah,
Michael
exactly.
Brent.
Like, and there's a specific reason, and we just don't know Axel's yet.
Yeah, Michael Brent said something interesting. They could have at least added Lightning or Noctis. One thing I feel about that is, like, okay, Lightning's voice sounds similar to the woman that Riku is talking to inside of the final world. So would Lightning be Yozora's, like, love interest or something like that, considering it is unreality? Like, if they would make bridges to Final Fantasy?
I don't think so. Lightning, her character specifically, is way too headstrong for that. I feel like you would have to negate a bunch about her personality to pursue that.
Yeah.
Like Nova Crystallis is very, very long, and there's specific, like, little tales and elements alluding to Lightning specifically being, like, I feel like her name Lightning is also alluding to the fact that she's so mentally ahead of everyone around her. Like, she very much has a goal every time, that I don't think that a love interest would make sense in her story. I could see other Final Fantasies 100%, but just not not Lightning.
So I just wanted to ask real quick, do you think that the Sora that we see in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, do you think, because I was thinking about this the other day, or today, do you think that could be actually Yozora, what he actually looks like, and that's just him? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could just be that, and Sora, the real Sora, is somewhere else. I don't know. I just had that thought.
So, like, Sora's new look is because he is Yozora?
Yeah, from that real world, like, Yozora said, "Oh, this isn't what I look like," and Yozora didn't recognize Sora because he could be the same person. It could just be the same person.
Yeah, I have a weird thing alluding to, like, my other part of the theory. Like, so when I say that Sora has to be killed outside of his realm, right? What if Sora could take, like, his heart could take the body of Yozora, but old past Sora wouldn't know it's him, right? So Sora would essentially negate his entire existence in the Kingdom Hearts realm, right? Still have to fight Yozora in, like, Yozora, right? So Sora as Yozora kills past Sora, right? So that Sora, who's existing as Yozora, can continue to exist in that realm. Kind of like taking Sora out of Disney completely, which is a problem.
At least for this first game, I could see them totally doing, at least not all, maybe like 1 or 2 Disney worlds, Disney properties, like the aforementioned Star Wars. If that isn't end up being true, I wouldn't be surprised. But like,
I would love if they
maybe some of the newer Disney stuff.
Yeah.
What I would definitely love to see, though, is like an actual, like, Sora going to, like, Midgar or Balam Garden or something, like a Final Fantasy proper crossover.
That's what
we don't even know if we're going to see Final Fantasy characters in this.
Right, like I feel like they're making a game or going to make a game where it's like the opposite of what Kingdom Hearts 3 was, because that's what the marketing strategy for this game was. So making the game like all Final Fantasy and a little bit of Disney at the end would be really interesting.
Like I saw, like I talked about this. I made a video about it before, and I was like, you know what? If we see the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, and one of the trailers we see it done in the same engine as the Final Fantasy 7 remake, and we see Cloud in his like Final Fantasy 7 remake like art style, just along with Sora in that realistic art style, I think that would blow the socks off of everyone.
It would, but what
Yeah.
Cloud would it be? Because the Cloud in Kingdom Hearts isn't really the Cloud from like the original FF7, so it's just like
I think it's
the
one
like
from.
Out quite.
I don't know, because in Kingdom Hearts 2 he wears his Advent Children outfit. I don't know if that's before or after, but because we don't really know. It's the same thing with Leon. We don't really know who. Leon. Squall.
Because I do think they're going to connect like Final Fantasy with it. It's just how do they do that when they've already introduced Cloud and Sephiroth, Tifa as his light.
Right.
I mean, they could reintroduce them because at the end of when you beat Sephiroth and Cloud and Sephiroth fight, they both disappear somewhere. We don't know where. Still lost on that aspect. But we never know. They could show up randomly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, someone made a little comment saying that that's why the logo is more serious. If it was the opposite of Disney and a little bit of Final Fantasy, and then being all Final Fantasy and then a little bit of Disney. Yeah, that's interesting. That'd be really cool. I would love to see like darkness outside the Kingdom Hearts realm. Like I want like something legitimately threatening for your Zora, and everyone
like
to go there and have to like, right? Like I want them to go there being like, I want to fight you, and then they all have this overarching enemy that they have to be like, okay, maybe we should work together. I think that'd be a really cool story.
That's every crossover. Oh no, we have to do this quick tournament arc, and then we can fight the main bad guy. Who would win between? Yeah. I know before I missed the comment before. It was hold on. Flotilla 1 said run down a wish list on what you wish to be in Kingdom Hearts 4. I kind of missed that before. That was when we were talking about the mobile game.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Personally, I mean, I would like to, from what I've seen so far from Kingdom Hearts 4, even though I know it's not final gameplay, the whip and the traversal system with the flow motion looks a lot cooler. It looks amazing.
The whip Keyblade was insane. I was very shocked.
I really hope we can use it like use Spider-Man and not just have like specific flow motion points. We can just whip to a thing and be able to grab on.
Right. What's interesting about the flow motion too is that Sora doesn't do that like jump burst. Like with the flow motion, he doesn't like fly. He kind of
he doesn't. Like he doesn't have the outline
either. So I was watching the trailer, and one thing that like I think might be the case is what if Square decided to do without the flow motion? So I know in KH3, I was even playing it last night. You could be like far distance, you do the focus, you zip all the way to the other side of the map. But then when you watch the trailer, Sora, instead of doing that, which would be extremely convenient, he shouldn't have forgotten it, he uses the grapple hook and then he reaches to something that's not that far, and he does it again to get to the Heartless in the sky, in the air. So I just thought that was kind of like maybe they changed flow motion and how it operates in this game.
I could see that. I mean, of course, it could just be for the trailer, be like, hey, look at this cool whip, but that could be true. I would see that.
It doesn't. I keep forgetting his name. Terra's armor. Doesn't he have the whip?
Yeah, Lingering Will.
Lingering Will. Doesn't he have a whip?
Yeah, that's
I feel like where Sora gets it from.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. Like, I feel like he learned it off of him. because of their like encounter.
Right.
You've probably seen it happen considering the encounter that happened within the Remind DLC. So it's and plus that's like he fought alongside him as well as fight him personally. So it's
and speaking of learning stuff, like obviously I completely forgot to mention the big drill, like the light drill that he uses, which is like very similar to the I guess the Monstropolis one, the Monstropolis Keyblade. Yeah, it's like the same drill, like, but he uses it out of light. So he could just be taking, forms of Keyblade forms because he only has the Kingdom Key right now. So he could just be taking that of what he's seeing and just forms it with light somehow, maybe like Green Lantern. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but he could just be taking what he's learned before and kind of like applying it to what he can do now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It would be nice for him to actually remember how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Right. In Final Fantasy, like every time you fight like a god or alien, you kind of gain their ability, right? So that's what Sora does every time he fights a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Sora reminds like if we could watch like someone who doesn't know anything about the world go about like a Keyblade, it's Xion. Like, and that's kind of what it reminds me of with Sora, where Sora just gathers it all in the second that he like comes across it, then fights it.
I like that we received confirmation that Sora could actually use the Keyblade in Quadratum, because I had seen several theories floating around the internet. He would not have access to his Keyblade in the slightest. So just seeing him whip that out in the trailer was sweet against a Heartless, which I also didn't think we would see Heartless in Quadratum. Like, I thought we would see a new type of enemy. And it looks like, by the way the people were reacting and taking pictures and running, it looks like that's the first time they're invading Quadratum. Like, it's a new occurrence.
It's the first time that Darkness has actually found a way over to Unreality.
Because there's not been like an anchor of Sora being there.
And the Master said it was a world beyond their conception. So now that they can conceive of it, they can probably get to it.
Right.
Yeah. All part of his plan to put Kingdom Hearts there.
Yeah. That's one thing I wanted to bring to your attention is, like, I really love the sizes of the Heartless. You know what I mean? Like, I'm loving how, like, the Dark Side Heartless or the upgraded Dark Side, however you want to take it. But, like, I really love how he's literally the size of a skyscraper. Like, it makes the fights a little bit more in depth. That's like, the feeling when you're fighting the Rock Titan back on Mount Olympus, how big it was. It gives a different feeling in a fight rather than fighting a normal Heartless or, any of the nobodies. Definitely feels amazing. Like, just seeing the pure, greatness of how big the Heartless is.
Yeah, I'm down for
Giant. The thing that's interesting is, like, we've never seen Darkness in the Kingdom Hearts realm that big either.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's something weird with Sora just being thrown into Verum Rex. Like, I feel like that has to be a plot somewhere in at least the Data World timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like requirements that make it happen.
Yeah. And who is Yuzora truly? Is that, is he Sora? Is he Noctis from Versus 13? I want to know, especially with the, the cutscene of like the exact same cutscene that they did for Versus 13, like him in the limousine.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing with Yuzora, I feel like his rule, I should say, as a person, I feel like his rule aligns with Shion's rule. Like, kind of like how Shion, however your connection or memory of that person is, that's how you see Shion. I don't know how it is now because we haven't really had other encounters other than Roxas Axel and the Guardians of Light, how they react to seeing Shion. But Yuzora can possibly look different too. That's how Sora sees Yuzora as Riku, or if Yuzora looks like Sora, like how you were saying earlier. But we don't know how the Master of Masters or Lushu may see Yuzora. He can look totally different. So
or how Lucard sees Yuzora.
Yeah, there's a lot of different theories up in the air with it. But I definitely feel like there's a rule with that.
I feel like Sora is like he makes his way to Quadratum, right? But it's with Strelitzia data version, right? But Strelitzia is in data version of Quadratum, not data version of like the Kingdom Hearts realm. And they have to find a way to, like they think Sora is in over there in the actual place, but now they have to find a way back. Because I think like a game of them traversing the real world is how they would be like, okay, well, how do we get to Sora in this real world? And that's where like I feel like when there's a data world, right, Yozora would be there if he's of importance in the original world.
I can see that.
There's a possibility.
How long do you think it'll take to save Sora then? Just out of curiosity, like, do you think it'll take several games on the way to finding him?
I think it'll probably be a spin-off game and a mainline title, honestly. Like, I feel like announcing a spin-off game in secret or alluding to a spin-off game in all the stuff that we're getting before the actual game would be really smart. It reminds me of how the Verum Rex trailer is literally in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, no, I could see that. You know, I want more answers. I just want answers at this point.
Yeah, like
because all we have is more questions.
I agree.
Yeah, like it just opens up so much.
Like even when Birth by Sleep came out, you know, it just opens up so much more. Like,
yeah,
and there's still more. Hey, Landy Lodge is in the chat.
Good, Landy.
Hey, Landy. How are you?
Landy.
I'm surprised Master of Masters hasn't strangled Lishu.
Homer Simpson style, dude. I would pay so much to see that.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that now darkness is on the way into this room.
I don't know.
Like,
Lushu
how do
put
you
up with a
feel
lot
about
of crap
now
from
both
Masters too.
That is true.
that Final Fantasy like phone game? How do you feel like that Kingdom Hearts is kind of like doing the same thing? It feels like Kingdom Hearts is mimicking the mobile platform that for Final Fantasy the way that they did on console when Kingdom Hearts kind of came out. You know what I mean?
I mean, Kingdom
I
Hearts
feel
isn't
like
a
they
battle
could
royale
connect.
yet, so we'll have to wait and see on that.
Right.
But no, I get
awesome,
that.
though.
I mean,
people want
I would
that.
play it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm still a little hesitant on the Pokemon Go Kingdom Hearts game. I really hope it's just like a multiplayer one. I would much more like that, mainly because my phone can outrun that. But you know, I'm still excited for it. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying with the whole they want to make more games for mobile, like how Final Fantasy has like a bunch, especially with the gacha stuff, like the trophies that we saw. That's absolutely going to be a gacha system. I'll probably play it.
Yeah, I think of like the tiers too. Like Union Cross, right, is like low tier, you know, to make like processing time wise, and then you have the middle, you know what I mean, and then you have the console games. So I feel like it'd be really smart for them to kind of like do it all like the same format as Final Fantasy because like even games like Crystal Chronicles run eventually on like we've gotten to the point where games like Crystal Chronicles, Final Fantasy can run on the mobile platform.
I mean, it doesn't run on my phone, but yes, it does. No, I agree. And with and you know the gameplay is definitely what I'm most excited for Missing Link. Like that looks so much fun. I haven't even seen the gameplay yet, but it looks fun. Like at least the button prompts and UI. I just would rather I mean, that looks really fun, but a Kingdom Hearts MMO, I think that would do really well. Like, I think if they made it in the unwritten era, I think that'd be pretty cool. Or remade Union as an MMO. What was that, Pajama? Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with this multiplayer one, whatever this is, possibly we'll have to find out more details.
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe Mirror.
What do you think?
Yeah,
that's my next question exactly. Like, where do you think that can like come in? Because I don't see any Final Fantasy in there, And I just think it's really peculiar that Donald and Goofy are alone.
Looking for, in the underworld. There was a press release later. I
Right.
don't have the link for it, but it was saying that Donald and Goofy were looking in the underworld for something.
Oh, they
I'm
specified that?
paraphrasing. Yeah, they specified it was in the underworld. So
Oh.
90% that's Hades. I mean, of course, we won't know truly until it gets dubbed. Yeah.
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 I don't know. I mean, that could just be the show. Like, that could just be for the show. We don't know. We don't know if it's for Kingdom Hearts 4 or anything. But because at least for the show, I thought they were gonna do like let's just remake Kingdom Hearts 1, but like good graphics for like a show.
I wouldn't mind that though.
I was told
I would not
Aqua and
mind that
Kairi
either.
show.
No,
Like, if we can't play as Kairi, give us an Aqua and Kairi show with her traveling to the different Disney worlds, meeting the rest of the princesses of Heart. I think that would be a fantastic concept.
It's Disney. It's a Disney. It's a Disney platform, Disney show. They're gonna want to call.
Right.
They're at least gonna want to call the shots on what it's gonna be about. But I feel like they're gonna give Square Enix like the free reign on do whatever you want, how you want to do it.
Hopefully,
but
yeah.
like this is like the outline of we want Sora, we want Mickey, we want we want the eye candy. That's just not Kairi, unfortunately.
Like, not to get a little bit off topic, but there's something like interesting that Geo Review said is. He says Sora's dead, Strelitzia is dead, Afterworld, a world of death, Underworld, underground, the world ends with you, Reaper's game. And part of it does make sense because it's a strong possibility that Sora is dead because we know that Sora lost to Yuzora. And so it's like not too far-fetched that he would be revived in the world ends with you. That would be a good way to connect the two games,
No, yeah, and he also used the power of waking to traverse. Right. No, he used the power of waking to traverse worlds to find hearts. Right? I think that's what he did. Yeah, he used the power of waking to traverse worlds to find hearts, not hearts to find worlds. So, and then when young Xehanort told him there's a high price to pay for using the power foolishly, so he totally could have died or went to unreality, which is an afterworld, which is what Strelitzia said.
I have a question. Do you think that so in Kingdom Hearts 3, you go through all of the worlds, right? Why, like, something that's always been like unanswered for me is kind of like why the Lich, right, shows these images of everyone dead, but no one died in those worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they could have died in the next game? And this is like what's causing Sora's need to like, or wherever they go, like, because I'm thinking of the characters that they actually show, and like, if you think of like Sora and Quadratum, like obviously all the main characters are the ones that are like around through the worlds, but none of them died there, which is what's interesting.
No. I wonder if they just used it as backgrounds or if there was an actual deeper meaning behind that, like.
Yeah, like, because if now the tactic, especially like with the way that we got everything for Kingdom Hearts before the game came out, and now we're getting nothing, right? So, and then hopping to if this is all Disney and then a little Final Fantasy, and that's all Final Fantasy and a little bit of Disney, like, do you think that, like, that was kind of alluding to the fact that because these are Disney characters, going there, like, one by one they die, trying to get to Sora?
Whoa.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because they would already be dead. Like, their souls will already kind of be dead in the Kingdom Hearts realm. But they all fell in the Keyblade graveyard. They didn't fall in all these worlds. And the Lich's power is interdimensional. Like, lore-wise. Like mythology-wise. So I feel like it could definitely work for both franchises here. And it would make for like a really cool final battle, like seeing, well, not really cool, but it'd be really awful and sad to see everyone fall like throughout the game going on, but then knowing that Sora saves them in both timelines and then corrects it at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Well, I have another theory to keep me up at night. It was sleepover. Yeah.
Everything I saw today is going to keep me up at night.
Yeah, I'm staying up till like 6 a.m. Like
Must make content.
I'm watching this in the playback and connecting
Most
all of these
definitely.
little things that we all talked about. I need to
Yeah.
I need to know more.
Yeah, I'm actually writing down things on my notepad on my computer while I'm doing this. So
Right,
I should be
as
doing
everyone's
that, but I'm
talking, I'm
not.
actually watching the video over and over again.
yeah, to keep track of certain plot points and stuff. There's definitely a
Yeah,
lot
'cause
of
what's
concrete
interesting,
details.
We know for
what's
sure that
interesting
Sora
too
now
is
has a
like,
whip, so
Yeah, I definitely want to use that willingly in battle.
absolutely.
Like,
I want it
just
to be
like
like
Lingering Will.
Spider-Man. You know, I want to be able to swing around Quadratum.
Yeah.
Just go full Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I mean, Lingering Will kicked my ass many times with that whip, so I should be able to use it now. Like,
It's only fair.
yeah, like it's
interesting.
Oh.
I don't know. Something's just the world that Sora ends up in looks too perfect. It looks too perfect. It can't be Quadratum to me.
And Sora
Quadratum,
himself looks too perfect as well, and so does
Yeah.
Strelitzia and the rest. You know, everything else, like Darkness just showing up now, even though I believe Strelitzia said that he's
right.
been there for a
And
while.
something something that I connect in like my collision theories is Naminé and the way that she in Crystal Chronicles, her counterpart would be this character Lady Neo. And Lady Neo puts threads of memory around the character and they're white. Um, and it alludes to Naminé because Lady Neo can she can unlink the chains connecting people's memories, causing them to forget things. Um, so I feel like uh, where was I going with this? Um, oh, I feel like in the beginning here of like the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, seeing the curtains the same way we did for Kingdom Hearts 3 with Ericus and Xehanort means something because those white memory threads would have made an entire, you know, like it's one of those things that I notice about all of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy that like the threads as the game goes on, like when it shows curtains, they always go longer, especially if they're white. And this one, like if you notice the curtains in Xehanort's room, right? They don't reach the floor, but these do. It's one of those weird things where like every time they're talking about something serious that like in terms of a flashback, there's always some kind of like white curtain. Even Naminé's room has the white curtains.
that is true.
So I feel like Strelitzia has something to do with those like that tie there. The Naminé, Xehanort, Ericus tie. Like this Strelitzia.
Do you think it's possible we see Xehanort in Quadratum and that Sora meets a past Xehanort, like from Dark Road? Because we know that Xehanort goes to Quadratum, but we just don't know like what he sees there. We just know that it kind of messed up with him.
Yeah.
So, probably him with the Master of Masters, like the two cloaked figures.
That is true. Because we do see that one scene in Kingdom Hearts Key Dark Road in the trailer. We do see that the Master of Masters has a second encounter with each other. So it's a strong possibility. Like he could have sent him on like a little ride along to Quadratum to show him where he's disappearing off to.
And we won't truly know until the trailer gets dubbed, which is
like we definitely need a dub trailer. It's probably gonna come out probably like next week.
I agree.
I think that when we get the actual like the event video of the event, I think that's also going to have some reveals in it too. This was just like the main trailers. I just wish we got both, but obviously they got to subtitle it. It's like a 2-3 hour event, so.
Yeah,
I don't
like
think
I said, we have
more
many
excited
different
for Kingdom Hearts in my life.
Yeah,
I know.
This is probably the best they've done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they've been like Square Enix. That's one thing I'll say is they've been doing great lately when it comes to like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy work. They've been doing like a good job, you know, because we've been waiting like years on it to get Kingdom Hearts 3, and then now we're getting like pretty much a Kingdom Hearts game, or at least a plethora of information or updates every single year. more than one update or more than one game. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, this
the
is what
wait
we
has
wanted.
been long. Not as long as Kingdom Hearts 3, but
you got people turning into grown men waiting for these games, and grown women.
So is Sora. Sora's turning into a grown man.
Yeah, it's.
What if we see Sora grow up? What if there could be a data Sora, and he just grows up in the timeline and then makes it out through using his power?
He's got a beard. Yeah.
How
to show when a character's age beard.
How do you feel time is gonna flow here? Do you think it's gonna be a problem for Kingdom Hearts?
That's interesting. I think, me personally, what if Sora has to hurry up and find a way out of Quadratum? Because we know that there's other characters like Lushu, Master of Masters, and Xehanort. We know that they transcend time. And Sora can't necessarily transcend time. He can burst through rips of reality, but can't really transcend time. So with that being said, I definitely feel like with Sora, right? I'm losing my train of thought. But with Sora, I definitely feel like he can find with the time, how we said how the timescape works. I feel like, what if it's a reverse thing of how the Realm of Darkness works? You know how the Realm of Darkness, it's very slow. Aqua feels like she's been walking for years, but then 10 years passes, even though few mere seconds happens in the Realm of Darkness. But what if Quadratum, it's rapid? What if they have a specific time limit, because we know Sora is a human, so he has to hurry up and get out of there before he reaches old age?
Yeah. That's interesting.
I also think that Sora being there is going to create an imbalance because he's not supposed to be there, and I think that'll add to the rush to get him out.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. I feel like that I don't know. There's such a huge emphasis on time in Kingdom Hearts 3 in general that they could go anywhere and it'll really mess up anything for Kingdom Hearts. I feel like in Quadratum, time is going forward for the people in Quadratum, but in comparison to the Kingdom Hearts realm, it's going in reverse. So Sora has to get out as quickly as possible so he doesn't accidentally go back to the beginning of the timeline in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, there's no way the worlds are synced or the timelines are synced between reality and unreality.
That's why I think it's the reverse. I feel like time is flowing forward in unreality, but when Sora goes back, I feel like the time is going to be subtracted. The time spent in Quadratum is going to be subtracted from the Kingdom Hearts realm.
I mean, Andrew Pryor has a good point. He said Sora got a beard and goes home dinner all moldy. It's a good take on it. I like that.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say real quick. So we were talking before about how flow motion doesn't happen in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that could just be for the trailer, but I was looking through it really quick. And the part where Sora runs up the building and he does a little flip, and then when he goes through that little walkway building, and when he jumps off the glass at the end towards the dark side, he does the same animation for when he jumps off. Yeah, for the flow motion. I mean, that could just be them reusing the animation, but maybe he still does flow motion, but it's still just it's less. It's nerfed a little bit, maybe even more. I just wanted to point that out. It's still the same animation. They could just be reusing it, but I thought it was interesting.
See, what's interesting about I'm watching it here now. What's interesting about it is I feel like more than ever, Sora is really using his environment in a different way, where the camera has to follow him almost like a cutscene, but it looks like someone's playing these things, hitting the button to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted. I was talking to a friend about is I love how they're starting to take certain aspects from, I don't know if you played this game before, but God of War.
Yep.
Yeah, he takes certain reaction commands from those type of fighting capabilities.
I just noticed something very interesting about this. So the two cloaked figures at the end of the reveal trailer, one of them steps with his right foot, and in the secret movie, the other one steps with his left foot. So that I think that could allude to two separate worlds, especially because one is light and one is dark.
Or two different
Like
people.
this one, right? Yeah, interesting.
Interesting. That is pretty interesting. I definitely want to look more into that. It's pretty interesting. I mean, at this point, anything's really possible. We're really in the dark here, pun intended.
I also liked a question that Khan asked. How do you guys think the Guardians of Light will encounter the Foretellers and Lushu? Because we know that's going to happen. I mean, maybe I should have prepared a thought when I brought it up. But
I mean, do you think that did the Foretellers when they appeared at the end of the Kingdom Hearts 3, did they use the power of waking to like traverse time to get to Lushu? Was that what they did? Because if so, then they could just do that with the Master and Masters if that ends up being true, and they can go to Unreality.
I don't think we quite know how that happened, or if Lushu summoned them there, like after the time was right, and he got the Keyblade, the No Name.
I mean, well, that's the thing. His heart would be the same. Obviously, they said, is that you, Lushu? You look different. So it makes sense if it was the heart, because obviously they don't know what he looks like. Yeah, still me under it all.
So
do you think that their masks because their masks would have like crystals for the eyes? Do you think that the crystals would allow them to see like the energy if the crystals are from the Final Fantasy universe?
Maybe.
The same way, like in Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates, they can like speak through vibrations. Anyway, keep going.
So another subscriber had emailed me a theory that inside the box are mediums for each of the foretellers, and that he might have done it that way.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Because he's got the memories of them. So.
Right.
It's either that or hope, because I think they could be playing us and there's really nothing in the box. Like, I could so see Maleficent get her hands on it and there's nothing in it but hope, and she just flips.
It's empty.
You know what I think, right? I think the box having hope and the fact that Goofy says your ace is a Joker, Maleficent then has the Joker, the ace shape, right? I think hope is trapping Maleficent and the Disney characters in that realm in the Mirrorverse, so that when Sora and everyone has to come back, there's nowhere to come back to.
And that's why possibly at the end of the trailer they said, if you choose to leave this world behind, you're not going to go back to the one you came from. Of course, we don't know where that's going to be, but could be. He could go to Midgar, could go to Final Fantasy. You never know. I would enjoy that.
Some people were asking earlier what the order of the games are going to be released, like in terms of FF16, Kingdom Hearts 4, Remake Part 2. Like, what do you guys think the order is going to be for those three?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't gotten a trailer for a Remake 2 yet, so...
No. All right, hear me out.
That's going to be at the end. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, Kai's
my bad. So I've been talking about this for a bit. I think if we go by past endeavors, right, they showed off certain trailers first. They showed off Kingdom Hearts 3 back in 2013. Yeah. They showed off Final Fantasy 15, and then they showed off 7 Remake. What kind of came first? 15, Kingdom Hearts 3, then 7 Remake. And we kind of have a similar circumstance going on. We have 16 Final, 16 KH4, and then 7 Remake Part 2. Part 2 did get said to be it's in development back in 2019. However, which means likely the development team quite ready to show it, even though statements say otherwise. And then if we're looking at personnel leaks, it's quite possible that perhaps late 20 2023, with Final Fantasy 16 either coming early next year before the end of the physical. So that's the important thing. So if it's 2, it could still work. And Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2, they said something about wanting to show it off later this year, though it may or may not happen. And that's not even bringing up any other possibilities. People on Twitter are like loose now bringing up Final Fantasy 9 Remake because of the fact that KH4 was confirmed today. So it proves that the GeForce Now leaks are at least more real. And if they announce, say, Tactics Remaster, it'll only be a time before they say 9 Remake, and then it'll bring up the question of, well, when would that get announced? So I just think that when it comes to it, if they showed off a trailer for it, that means it's within the horizon of going to be released at least within the next physical or 2 years. But if it hasn't been shown yet, we still got a while before it gets shown.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing that, I'm not certain, but I'm guessing that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is very close to being done. I guarantee you there's a trailer, like an in-engine trailer like what we saw for Kingdom Hearts 4. I guarantee you there's one. They just wanted to not take away the spotlight from Kingdom Hearts 4, and they're probably going to want to get maybe 1 or 2 more trailers for Final Fantasy 16 until they release that. So at least that has a release date. Just to not take away the hype.
Definitely.
What if we get like one? Wait, what? Isn't Dark Road coming out August?
Yeah, August.
When
It's
is
been
Dark
delayed
Road?
almost a whole year.
Yeah, August.
So that would be
August
7 months. That'd be 7 months from this month, right? So I think 13 months after today would probably be when we're getting the game. The same way they kind of did like the event.
I missed that, Axel. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. What was that?
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry.
Our hearts are all just crazy with everything that has got shown.
I know.
Our hearts have guided us that way.
Yeah. Collectively.
Oh boy. Where's Ava though? Do you think someone will find her and save her? That's a good question.
Ooh.
I mean, the last time we heard of her was Kingdom Hearts 3. Lucius says, she had the role to play and she did it flawlessly. We don't know what that role is, so
Right.
I still think she's Subject X. I'm putting it out there. It's an unpopular opinion.
Oh.
I'm standing true to it. I think she's Subject X.
Do you want to say why?
Okay. So after I released my Istrelitzia Subject X video, naturally I got a lot of comments about how she has black hair. So I was thinking, who has black hair? Obviously Skuld, right? But so does Shion. And that made me think about Ava, because we don't know anything about Ava.
Yeah.
So I had actually had a side theory that like maybe Ava's heart joined with Kyrie's, and because of that and Ava having black hair, then Shion could have the black hair because it's Kyrie.
True. Definitely.
Ava's got a lot of similarities to Kyrie as well. Like, she could potentially be one of the candidates for Kyrie's grandmother, because I still think she's an actual character that we know of. She's what she said was too crucial to the storyline about you.
Exactly. Like it, I was kind of like, I wouldn't say arguing, but I was kind of arguing with one of my subscribers because they were saying some nonsense about like Kyrie's grandmother stumbled across a random like fairy tale book that Ansem the Wise owns. And like, okay, one thing I'll say is, okay, it's a theory, all theories you have taken with grains of salt, and all theories are probable, right? Some are more far-fetched than others, but like one thing I feel like is she, like what Kafei said, is like she knows a little bit too much. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like she's speaking a little bit too literal when it comes to the story of Kingdom Hearts. Like, it's not like that's like, it would be weird to see Goofy talking about the Keyblade War, right? It would be just a little bit weird. It would be out of pocket. So when it comes to Kyrie's grandmother now, she knows a little bit too much for comfort. Like, for her to be not a more important person who at least has a strong hand over the events in the story.
Definitely.
She has to be silenced by the darkness.
Exactly.
She knows too much.
And she wears purple, which is a darkness color.
Yeah.
True.
And who knows? Maybe Lushu, like, when the worlds are falling to not falling to darkness, because in Kingdom Hearts 1 we know that Hollow Bastion is indeed a part of the normal worlds. But who knows? Maybe Lushu came and took her out.
Maybe.
There's many different possibilities. Maybe she does know too much, and maybe she was like a part of like the mysterious trio. Maybe she's one of the headmasters alongside Lushu and Master of Masters.
But see, the fact that Lushu removed Subject X also makes me think that Subject X is Ava. Because why would he save Subject X unless it's someone he actually cared about?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I was going to say because of the Book of Prophecies, but Lushu didn't have a copy of the Book of Prophecies, so he wouldn't know that.
Yeah, he already knows what a lost page is. Like.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the like, let's just entertain the Subject X idea for a sec. What if, like the same way with Xehanort, when he splits himself, there's different ages, right? That's kind of what happened with Subject X, where Subject X is Kairi, but was split to be Kairi's grandmother and Kairi, because in Crystal Chronicles, Ryam, who splits memory by eating like awful memories, he literally creates two characters.
So Kairi can't be Subject X because she got sent off by Terranort and Subject X was removed by Lushu.
Gotcha. Makes sense. I just like to speculate the weird stuff. Gotcha. Makes sense. I'm not well versed in anything.
Someone saying Lushu read the book for sure. That's part of the reason why he's a traitor. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It does make sense.
I agree. I can agree with that. Now, do you think that
how would he have gotten a copy of it? Like, how would he have read it?
Well,
maybe there's a hidden scene we haven't seen yet, or something like that. Possibly.
There's always a hidden scene we haven't
nothing
seen.
A back cover.
Yeah.
Because Brain gave it to Ephemer, so he didn't get it from Brain.
I mean, we could maybe find out in that the mobile game, not Dark Road, the whatever Missing Link. Yeah, I mean, we don't know where Lushu is at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably near Xehanort, because that's what the Book of Prophecies is following.
Yeah, he has a stick by Xehanort in Overwatch to Keyblade.
Mm-hmm. And the Keyblade is in Scala.
Yeah.
So. And it's given to Xehanort, so that had to be done by Lushu.
Do you think that other Keyblades could be formed by other characters except for Sora?
I think the Master of Masters can make Keyblades, but I'm also just remembering that Mickey goes to Yen Sid and says they broke their Keyblades and need new ones. And he's like, okay, go see the
No, not
fairies.
regular Keyblades. No, like the Keyblade.
Oh, like the Keyblade.
Yeah, like, do you think that another Warrior of Light in the future could make another key to go to Quadrata?
Probably.
You see, like, I have an interesting theory about that, because, like, I feel like, for one, I feel like Roxas is the only character that we have that can forge the Keyblade, because we know that Xehanort got it from the 13 Darknesses and 7 Lights clashing, and then we got the artificial Keyblade, which what Vanitas had, the unfinished one, which was Darkness and Light clashing. But then we have one character that has dark and light in a perfect balance. So what if there's another means of getting the Keyblade that we don't know? And that's where Roxas comes in, because he's the only character that's perfectly balanced.
As all things should be, yes.
I do like that idea. It just makes me wonder then why Xehanort wouldn't have attempted that himself, to be perfectly balanced instead of embracing the darkness, if that makes any sense.
Because that's the only thing. Because, Xehanort isn't necessarily a bad guy, but one thing I'll say is he wanted to maintain balance. He didn't want to be balanced himself.
Yeah, he wanted to be able to dictate that balance. And darkness.
Yeah. He probably thought he
and what if Xehanort? What was that?
He probably thought he already was balanced.
Yeah.
Right, and the thing, the thing that I think is the light Scalum. He could have put like his light in that realm, right, to trap Sora, right? But then like it took his light, and that's why like he still thinks he has his motives, like original goals, but they're tainted by darkness almost completely at this point.
Yeah.
Because there's no like definitive point in the timeline where we actually see Xehanort like go, okay, I'm the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna, like we don't see that arc really grow in terms of the actual decision to make the plan to go against the Warriors of Light.
Hopefully we get more of that in Dark Road, or some sort of scene where he's embracing the darkness more.
Yeah.
I gotta get caught up on the rest of Dark Road. I haven't been caught up on it in a while. Hey, I got plenty of time though. Delayed till August.
Oh my god.
Right.
I know. They said winter. It's like that's the complete opposite of winter.
They said September.
First it was September.
Yeah, September.
Exactly. It was supposed to come out for Jump Festa time, but then it just got
not
delayed.
COVID anymore. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Con Donahue says, "Do you guys think that we will get any game releases this year? Since Prodigy said that Nomura is hinting at game releases this year and next year." Yeah, I could see
definitely.
Okay, definitely the mobile game, probably around December, if not like January at the latest. I mean, because it'll be a closed beta for like a month, and then an open beta for like 2 months, and then they'll announce a release date, and then release it like a month after that. It's usually how those go.
He might have
in terms of Kingdom Hearts 4. In terms of Kingdom Hearts 4, probably not till next summer, if not next fall. They'll say next summer, but then it'll be like the next summer after that.
Or maybe the next anniversary.
Yeah, 25th anniversary. Let's hope.
So I saw that video. Pretty much, I did a similar video. Basically, Nomura didn't specify Kingdom Hearts, because we know that he is in other projects.
Yeah, he has other things.
Yeah, so basically, he said that before KH4 got announced or anything. So we can assume that he alluded to the Kingdom Hearts, both the mobile game and the console game coming. Though he could also be talking about other projects. So Square Enix had the Final Fantasy 35th anniversaries this year, and they put up a website, and they mentioned Final Fantasy 7, 11, and 5, and they said that I believe it's the 30th anniversary for for Final Fantasy 5, the 25th for 7, and the 20th for 11. And there wasn't anything that came out of that. Then recently there was a trademark that was filed for Tactics Ogre. And again, going back to the GeForce Now, a lot of people were like hoping that Tactics Remaster becomes a thing. And then if that's the case, because that also has its 20th anniversary coming up too. So for Final Fantasy side of Square Enix, they're not likely finished when it comes to announcing stuff. Also, we have the Final Fantasy IX animated series, which was stated to be in would either start production at the end of 2021 or at the start of 2022. So,
oh, really? I didn't hear about that. That's pretty
cool. It was back around E3 last year that a group called Cyber Group Studios would be making a Final Fantasy IX animated series. And after that, we haven't heard anything since. So it's
If you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so there are still things that are happening. It's just more about waiting for the proper times and anniversaries, and just hoping for the best.
No, I agree, and I'm sure you've all seen the NVIDIA game like Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, that came true.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
now with the Final Fantasy 9 remake that they're gonna pretty much guaranteed to do now, I can see them doing the Final Fantasy 9 and the show along to coincide with the game, or to hype up the game with the show, or hype up the show with the game. One of those.
So one thing that a lot of people in the community, for some odd reason, would throw out is they would say, make Final Fantasy 9 look like look like Kingdom Hearts 3. And I'm like, no. Have y'all played
Nah,
the original release of it? The
still
9
looks
looks,
good.
it looked, if not better than the mainline game. So if you're gonna remake it, you would keep that same idea in mind. And then I
Yeah.
pointed out that in Dissidia and all other crossovers, they keep the stylization of the Final Fantasy IX characters, because if you check the height of Zidane, he's the same height as Cloud, but if you play the video game, you see that he appears to be shorter than Cloud.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like they're already doing that, but yet you see how Final Fantasy IX looks like. So it's just something people say, and I'm just like, well, this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last time we saw Zidane, right, the guy with blonde hair, Zidane. Last time we saw him in like a realistic style was the what was that? The Final Fantasy like fighting one. That's like that
Yeah,
arc became version. Yeah, that one.
yeah,
That's like the most realistic. I liked it like that, but I still like the original graphics with
yeah.
that art style.
So if you ever keep up with any like of the mobile games, like the Brave Exodus, they had cutscenes where they did of like all the characters, and when they get to 9, they have one for Kuja as well, and they're utilizing the same look in the CGI cutscene as how they looked in the Dissidia games. So it's like they've been consistent with how they look from those games all the way even into a mobile game. So that's why if Final Fantasy IX, in fact, remake is happening, I see them keeping that consistency, and we finally see that style with the other characters like Arnett or Beatrix. I know people will want to see Beatrix updated.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's interesting that they're releasing a remake potentially and an animated series for FF9.
Yeah, when I first heard about it, a lot of people spoke about how they were concerned about it, saying that it was going to target kids of 8 to 13. But then I did some research, and apparently, according to the words of the character artists that helped make the characters for 9, he spoke in an interview as how the characters' appeal in the original game was towards kids and adults alike. So in the original game, that was the target audience. So with with the show, them saying that is not saying that it's going to ruin the story of the game, because then that means the original game would have been ruined, but it wasn't. So I just thought that was something to point out.
Yeah.
Con Donahue said, so what do you guys think when it comes to the timing of the game releases for Kingdom Hearts? I'm assuming it means like for the past game releases, I think. And if you're talking about that relating to how Kingdom Hearts is going to come out, obviously it's going to come out in a less period of time than Kingdom Hearts 3 will, thank God. Obviously when games get, more and more graphics and all that, it takes longer to make, but I don't know. I mean, I know we already talked about what we thought the release dates were going to be, but I'm not really sure.
I
I
think
tried to make
that
a comment, but I can't.
I think that the way that Kingdom Hearts 3 gave us everything that we didn't really ask for, like they gave us the whole game before the game came out, and the fact that they're keeping all of the Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts content for the second wave kind of secret It reminds me of it kind of feels like they're trying to revive Final Fantasy with the tactics they used to start Final Fantasy. Just kind of being secretive about the games they're coming out with and then dropping it.
No,
that
yeah,
worked for their games, that works for Square.
yeah. Like if one day they decided to just shadow drop the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster or even remake, I'd be yes, please do that. I want to play that game. I want to remaster that game really bad.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like
I mean,
I would love.
I like when they do that.
Mhm. Yeah, I would love that. I genuinely
I
don't
mean, of course. Go ahead.
You go ahead. I was just gonna attach. Just like I'm just really excited. That's really it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I know when like games like that, like obviously if a game gets shadow dropped, like I don't know if you guys Apex Legends, like that game was announced like a week before it came out. Like there was no hype for it at all until it came out.
Yep.
I enjoy like the hype for something is very nice. It's nice to have hype for it. Obviously it builds expectations and then expectations, like with Kingdom Hearts 3, expectations get a little bit too high, people get disappointed. I enjoy knowing about the game, but at the same time, I'm like, I'd rather just not know about the game, so it'll feel like it comes out quicker than me dragging on every second before it comes out. That's just me, but I still enjoy being hyped up for game releases, but I'd rather them just kind of subtly drop a game and then get the hype for it after.
Yeah.
That's what is a tangent.
Right. I feel like with this new wave of games, right? They used Final Fantasy to add hype to Kingdom Hearts. And now that Final Fantasy is dropping, I think they're using Kingdom Hearts to bring more hype to Final Fantasy.
Interesting. Colin Donahue said, Metropolis Days, I meant releases for the next game. When do you guys think they will come out? Especially what Nomura said. I don't know. I'm thinking like summer next year, if not like around Christmas time, December, Christmas time. I could see that'd be a good time to release.
Yeah, like I
Christmas
was
time
saying,
sales.
like I was saying, is the next anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, or maybe in March, like on when Kingdom Hearts 1 released, or fall, because that would be good to like a good marketing thing when it comes to like Black Friday and the holidays.
Of course, yeah, that's
I agree.
marketing.
Fall.
Yeah, that'll definitely.
I also posted this in the Discord, but there's a few pictures from the event, and there's a couple statues. There's one of Roxas in his KH2 attire with the sea salt ice cream, and there's one of KH2 Sora with the with his Kingdom Key, and he's also holding Kingdom Key D in like the same position that he would if it was in Valor form, which is pretty interesting. I don't know. I just thought I'd say that. I think it's pretty cool.
Reading this comment from Square Pair, it says, "What are your thoughts on the Missing Link game? Any theories on what's going on that one?" I actually, so isn't it interesting how the Missing Link is the brain, and the entire Kingdom Hearts realm has this missing link, the brain?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very interesting that like Final Fantasy is such a head realm. You know what I mean? That it would make sense for Scala at Kylum to connect to both Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts as the nexus of which all worlds spring.
Yeah.
Like kind of a Final Fantasy origin, but for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. That makes sense.
If you were forced to choose having one game delayed 3 years and getting one real soon, would you rather delay Final Fantasy VII Remake and get Kingdom Hearts 4 right away, or vice versa?
Final Fantasy VII Remake, honestly.
Like you want that, or you'd rather delay
first.
that?
I'd rather it be delayed. Like I feel like we played Final Fantasy VII already. Like, and I'm like, what we're really trying to like, what we're waiting for really is graphics. Really, like
exactly.
Like,
that's
Kingdom Hearts 4 is like the next best thing since sliced bread. So
it better be.
Like compared to I almost said Resident Evil, but compared to Final Fantasy 7, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4 takes the cake.
No, I agree. I would say, delay Final Fantasy remake. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be cool. They'll probably expand on a lot, especially with the open world part. It might be like Final Fantasy 15, but like it's not going to be that much different. It's going to be remaking or reimagining Final Fantasy 7.
Well, there's the kicker. Do they kill Aerith? I know that's slightly off topic, but that's something that I'm still not sure if they're going to do.
I really want to see that cutscene if it does happen or not. I don't know if they're honestly okay. I wouldn't be surprised if they did kill her, but I'd also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Just have her be like fatally wounded, but she doesn't die. Maybe.
But I feel like it's part of the experience for her to die.
It also was a reimagining.
Like what if Aerith
like how Final Fantasy 1 Strangers of Paradise is a reimagining of the story?
Well, what's interesting is, like, the Final Fantasy characters, especially in Remake, are different than their Kingdom Hearts outfits, but Aerith's looks the same, so I think she could still die, but end up in the Dream Realm.
Oh, I mean, either way, I still want to see the cutscene of her dying in, like, 4K 60 FPS.
Wow, seriously. Like,
Alicia
can never catch a break.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. It's funny.
I don't disagree either. It's kind of like why I want to see Shion's death in full HD 4K. Like Shion and the Roxas fight in full 4K.
You just see like ice cubes on her toes and like.
No, it's like I want to see. Like the attention to detail they would do for that scene would be like insurmountable. Like they would put so much, like time into that cutscene that I just want to see what would be different. Would it be different? Would she die? Would she stay alive?
I definitely think that they almost need to kill her off, but at the same time, if you pay attention to the one song, like the theme song, he says like it's from Cloud's perspective, and he's saying like this time I'll never let you go, and it's just. I don't know. Like, it really sounds like he's talking about like if he could change things, he would change things, and this is the opportunity to change things. Now that the
come on, Cloud, you're her bodyguard. You got to protect her this time.
Exactly.
I actually haven't finished the first part of Remake. I've been slow on it, but I'm playing on it.
Something going through Kingdom Hearts 3 that I noticed is that a lot of the bosses kind of line up with Final Fantasy bosses. So I was wondering if you think it's possible for Heartless in the next realm or whatever's next to like possess Machina in Final Fantasy. Like possess the machines that are running off of life energy.
Strong possibility.
If they can do the Gigas, why not?
Yeah,
like I think it'd be really interesting if the darkness attaches itself to this data world, and like Sora can like trap a bunch of this darkness in here to like outweigh, like to not really outweigh, but like to take the darkness from Quadratum that's like starting to exist there and trapping it in the data realm so it can't exist in Quadratum, even though it would still be in Quadratum.
And, of course, we still don't know Riku's role in all this, if he's there, if he's in Sora's dream, or, what. There could be, it could also be, Riku bringing it in, too. We don't know if he's in there at this point. It could be both of them. It could just be Sora.
Yeah.
Because Riku still does tiny bit of tie to the darkness.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't want it, he still has it.
Square pair really quick. The data world that we're talking about is, so in the new trailer, like I feel personally that when you see Sora and Strelitzia, it looks way too perfect to be actually Quadratum. So that's kind of my thing. Like I feel like this small little microcosm version of Quadratum is gonna be where Sora has to collect the darkness.
Maybe it's just Ansem the Wise messing around again. I don't know, but it's I don't know. It's just all Ansem the Wise. He's just all orchestrating this.
So, just as a side note, if anyone brought darkness to Unreality, it was probably young Xehanort, because he had darkness in him. So, yeah, and I'm fairly certain he visited Unreality.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a combination of young Xehanort opened the door at first, maybe something like that, and then Sora is what's leading them through it.
Yeah.
Right, like I had a weird theory like regarding, remember how I was saying how like I think that Quadratum could be the reverse of the Kingdom Hearts realm? Like I think that Xehanort traveled to the future in the Kingdom Hearts realm, right? And then traveled to the past through Quadratum and copied the like the data, but needed people to fill the data world with, so he trapped Warriors of Light there. So that like the people in that little microcosm world could have someone to protect them.
True.
Maybe that's where the dandelions are.
Yeah, that's another thing to consider. I highly doubt all the dandelions just became heartless or nobodies or dream eaters. I feel like there are definitely like some that did break through that boundary, who are like in that world of Quadratum.
Anyway. Hey, Bama, you got a question in the chat.
I see that. He's one of my longtime subscribers. We love him. So he's asking basically who I think the main trios will be in the next phase.
Like, you mean like the Sea Salt Trio and the rest of that?
Right. Like he suggested the Destiny Trio and the Wayfinder Trio. I think that's what they're called from Birth by Sleep. I'm only a year old, so I'm still getting used to all the terms. But personally, I think there are going to be 3 phases to Kingdom Hearts, right? We've already done phase 1. Phase 2 is going to focus on the Guardians of Light. So it'll be all of those trios, the Wayfinder Trio, the 358 Trio, so on and so forth. And then phase 3, I think, is going to focus on the Foretellers and the Master of Masters. And I think all of those reveals are being saved for the very, very end. So
do you think that
it was mostly about the Guardians?
Do you think it actually matters who the Master of Masters is, or do you think it's just like one of those things that's going to be like, oh, he's just a concept, but like a physical form?
I would love for him to just be a concept. Like, yeah. I think that's perfect because
you know, I hear, like I hear all the time, you know, maybe it's Sora, maybe it's, you know, maybe it's this person, maybe it's this person, maybe it's nobody, maybe it's just some random person, or maybe it's nobody.
I mean, there's a very real part of me that thinks there's going to be a Loki in Dark Road and that the Master of Masters is him. So, not from the MCU, from Norse mythology. I will preface
Thor. I want to see Thor.
Oh my
I think that I think that the Master Masters, like I don't know. I feel like these like that that scene with him and Xehanort and him saying my name is with that flash of light could like allude to him being like the name of light, right? But I think it could be like the same thing as Tidus being a dream of the faith. I think that that's who this character could be, and I only think that the world is going to project someone onto him when it's necessary.
Okay.
Huh.
So clearly, I haven't played Final Fantasy. I'm making my way with Axel through Crystal Chronicles, and that's my first real Final Fantasy. So I don't know.
It's not the best one, so it's a perfect place to start.
Well, here, I tried 7, but my memory card needed to be formatted or something, so I couldn't save. And I was like, well, I'm not going to play if I can't save. So anyway, I don't know Nomura's game style. Like, Kingdom Hearts is all I have from him. So I don't know if he's more likely to keep it simple, where the Master Masters is just light as much as darkness is darkness, or if he's the type to go for the plot twist.
I could see that.
The mind effery.
I feel like at this point in the Kingdom Hearts
did you see the Xigbar? Did you see the Xigbar reveal? I mean, is that not a plot twist? Like he's a madman. Sorry.
Okay,
but wouldn't the plot twist? You go ahead.
Okay, there's a difference between Xigbar being Lushu and the Master of Masters being Sora. Like that one is far.
Yeah.
more advanced and complex and implicating.
Yeah. I forgot my question. It's okay though.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I was gonna say, like, do you think it's possible, because now you've played Crystal Chronicles, right? Do you think it's possible that between the miasma streams, like you're in one bubble going to the next bubble, and there's this like depth of darkness, like just miscellaneously placed there, right? Do you think that the crystals allowing them to traverse through, right? And that Kingdom Hearts showing crystals through the eyes of characters connects in a way? That's specifically for Michelle because she thinks about things on that same like spirituality uh, aspect.
Okay, so there are two sides to me on this one. You have the side of me that says, I don't see a reason why that's not true. But then you have the other side that says, I really don't know Nomura's style. So,
yeah,
like, if this is a thing he would normally do, then yes, absolutely, they connect in that way. That's where I stand.
Well, this was, yeah. Crystal Chronicles did come out 1 year after Kingdom Hearts 1. I genuinely feel like it was the game meant to like be the next, like the storyline is too similar to Birth by Sleep for it to just not have been like a thought process to put that game before Birth by Sleep. Does that make sense?
I also haven't gotten very far in the story yet. So.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
When it comes to the Master of Masters, I have a quick theory I wanted to bring up. It's a bit humorous, but it came to me one day. What about Master Yensid being the Master of Masters? If we don't see him in Dark Road walking alongside Ericus and Xehanort, like, come on.
What if he's what if the Master of Masters is the Master of Dark Masters and Yensid is the Master of Masters of Light?
I could see that.
It's a good spin.
Maybe.
If I'm being real, I think Yensid is just a personification of Disney itself.
Yeah.
And like kind of, because Disney will let Kingdom Hearts do whatever it wants for the most part. But ultimately, if the series goes down, Disney's going to take a lot of the heat for it. You know, and Yensid is there to clean up messes when they really need him.
Right.
Yensid ain't the master of anything but sitting.
I was always a bit suspicious of him ever since he failed to perceive the danger in Dream Drop Distance. I'm like, come on, how did you not know this, dude?
I can tell you that much.
I don't know.
I have a weird theory about that. I feel like Yensid did not know that the Final Fantasy characters were going to be in his world, and because Yensid knows the ethical rules of like world traveling, he can't tell any Warriors of Light or people that haven't figured it out yet that like these Final Fantasy characters being in Kingdom Hearts is starting to mess up the timeline, because Yensid only kind of speculates and gives information on stuff that is a fated event.
Well, at least for Squall, all we know is that his world fell to darkness, and then like everyone dies, I guess. So we don't really know anything else other than that.
And that it was probably Maleficent's fault.
Probably. I mean, that's why he changed his name. He changed it to what, Leon, right? He changed it to Leon, so he doesn't have to remember.
Yeah, but even like I don't know. I hope that we see Laguna, which is Leon or whatever from like a past dream. It's like a past dream version of his light. You know what I mean? Like I would love to see Leon be that in Quadratum. Like I would love to see Laguna again.
Interesting. Square Pear says Yensid ain't the master of anything but sitting. I agree. He got up once.
Yeah.
But his name spelled backwards is Disney.
I didn't know that for a long time.
But isn't that interesting, right? That in the Disney realm, isn't it interesting in the Disney realm, his name is Yensid backwards, right? So wouldn't there be a character named Disney or something named Disney in Quadratum or whatever's like wherever Yozora is?
It's like a mirror of Disney.
Mirrorverse, yeah.
Exactly.
I wonder if Oswald the Lucky Rabbit exists in this. You know, let's find out if he exists there.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna play a role in Kingdom Hearts 4. Honestly,
that'd be interesting. I mean, they're the epic Mickey games were pretty good.
What if he's like a
agree.
anti-Keyblade wielder, kind of like how Riku was in Kingdom Hearts 1, how he had the Soul Eater, but then it developed into a Keyblade like over time to the Way to Dawn? What if that happens with Mickey and Oswald?
I want playable Oswald in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Like he has a normal sword.
Me too.
That'd be cool.
What if, like I would love that. I think that'd be really
And we know Oswald's attitude is like a very opposite to what Mickey Mouse is. He's more snappy,
like
more
an
spunky of a character.
Yeah. He's more like Walt
like an
Disney
epic
was when he
Mickey
was younger.
world.
Yeah, so he'd be more
like an epic Mickey world
darkness
would be so
induced than Mickey Mouse would be.
Yeah. Because didn't the like art for the Epic Mickey games, like wasn't it like really like nightmarish? Like it was
like it was very
showing
dark.
like Mickey being like a zombie and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
it was
I would
very
love
dark.
that for Kingdom Hearts.
I think
Like,
they are
genuinely
all
love that.
like darkness. Like all the ink monsters are like darkness. Like their form is from darkness or something like that. I forgot. I haven't played the games in a long time, but it's something to do with darkness.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mickey Mouse and Oswald on a
we'll
party.
see other Guardians.
Dude, that'd be sick, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do you think we'll see other Guardians in Kingdom Hearts 4 or later?
My statement with Roxas still stands.
I agree with your statement with Roxas.
Yeah,
I feel like
Roxas is definitely going to play a
he's
role.
honestly the most likely, the only person with all three parts, to be able to travel.
So I just wanted to ask, besides Final Fantasy, do you think any other like Square properties that are video games could like hop into that could show up?
Dragon Quest.
Just for example, Dragon Quest. Yeah, Dragon Quest. World Ends With You. There has to be another World Ends With You with like, I could see it being Neo. Yeah, absolutely. Like Neo and Neku.
See, the stuff that I look for about that is the form changes in Kingdom Hearts 3, because they're all mostly new, and I want to know where Sora gets that like shooter gun from, because it's not Yozora.
Yeah, it's a gun.
Like I want to know what.
Maybe he learned it from Zigbar.
That's a strong possibility too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Zigbar's guns are more like snipers, and Sora's.
They're like crossbows.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, Sora's are it's like a 2 crossbow like situation.
Yeah, and then he has the rocket launcher.
Claire Redfield. Reminds me of like Resident Evil. Claire Redfield.
Resident Evil, yeah. Claire is awesome.
Yeah, I would love Kingdom Hearts Resident Evil. Imagine that.
Oh my gosh, that would be something
take
else.
Over the zombies.
Yeah.
I just had that thought the other day. I was like, oh, like top 5.
I mean, bioweapons sounds enough like Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Kingdom Hearts is the ultimate crossover franchise, and I think that now that Kingdom Hearts is like everyone played Kingdom Hearts. At least one of them. Like them dropping something with other IP, like other companies, would be hands down
they
the
did it
best
with
thing
Smash.
they've ever done.
Yeah, and I believe that Tetsuya Nomura is actually friends with one of the head developers at Capcom. So just like how he's friends with Hideo Kojima, which is the director and story writer of Metal Gear Solid. So he does have connections here and there throughout the game company.
Kojima's incredible.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Kingdom Hearts crossover. Both stories are confusing.
That
make it even more confusing.
I feel like Legend of Zelda crossover would explain why the Keyblade has power really well.
Yeah.
They could do that really nicely.
Because of Fi and like the
Nintendo.
Skyward Sword situation.
But
Nintendo and Square have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah.
They do.
Hey, if Sora got in
especially
Smash,
now with the Switch.
I mean...
Yeah, no, it would be
Sora
it would do really well for everyone that has a Switch. I just think that they would need to
it's going to come out on console.
I just think that they would need to make native ports for the rest of the Kingdom Hearts games. That'd be nice. Can you get those first, please?
Yeah.
Can you get those first?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Didn't even bother with those. Square Paris says Kingdom Gear Rising Final Sequel 3.8.
I think we all saw that at the same time.
I mean,
yeah.
Technically, we do have Raiden inside of Kingdom Hearts because Axel and Raiden are the same voice actor, Quentin Flynn. So
wait, really? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you listen to Axel's voice, it sounds just like Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4 and Rising. So it does sound like.
I mean, they connect to Wreck-It Ralph. Raiden is in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, there's many different connections that we can make throughout these things, and there's many possibilities because, like I said, you know, it being a core Disney title of Kingdom Hearts 4, you can add other games possibly, or maybe like references to other games, or you know, cameos and whatnot.
Right.
After all this is over, Sora is definitely going to come back and reference like meeting a mysterious mustache man or like a blue speedy hedgehog or something, and for sure
Sora's running down the street and all here's Hadouken.
Right.
But like if you do think that we're gonna get any Disney like crossover worlds, like do you think it's gonna be, because what they did for Kingdom Hearts 3, it was anything like before 2016 that they used. So do you think they're gonna do like Moana or any movie like that? Like any new movies? Like if they do anything Disney.
In my personal opinion, any movie or crossovers that connect to Wreck-It Ralph are highly likely, because Wreck-It Ralph is a link in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I mean, I could see that.
And we haven't
you know how
been in that world yet.
You know how in Kingdom Hearts 3, where when Sora was pushed through into the Verum Rex like game, it was from Kingdom Hearts 3 to the video game, and then in Kingdom Hearts 4, I mean, they could just be playing like Moana or something on a TV, and then Sora gets sucked in or goes in like it's a painting and Super Mario 64, and they just kind of chills in the plot. I mean, that would be a good way to explain it, because he's not of the world. He can do things that other people can't.
Right.
Maybe.
Because most of the thing is like a lot of other games that are really popular enough to have huge crossovers with Kingdom Hearts, like interdimensional travel is kind of a thing in. Like even in like the newer Disney movies, like it's very interesting that they have this kind of like, I feel like on the Disney side they're correcting like the means to time travel for Sora, but also like they're thinking about ways to connect to it. Like I feel like that would be huge for Kingdom Hearts if they made collaborations like a Smash Bros, but for like an RPG where you're actually playing through a story, because that really hasn't been done in gaming before.
You know, I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten like a turn-based Kingdom Hearts game yet. At least one.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Chain of
That'd
Memories.
be cool. I'm surprised they didn't make that the mobile game.
Wouldn't Union Cross is turn-based?
Yeah, kind of, but like a
real game that's turn-based.
Yeah,
like the Final Fantasy X, like stop, go, go.
Like Chain of Memories.
Yeah.
Like Chain of Memories kind of stuff. Yeah. Like turn-based instead of the weird card thing that super hard. I can't get it.
Oh my god. All in the
Can we get The Rock in Kingdom Hearts? That'd be funny. I mean, hey, he's in Fortnite.
Please no. Please no.
The Rock.
I mean, hey, if they remade
in Quadratum.
Yeah, right. If they remade the entire Let It Go for Frozen, I'm sure they're gonna remake the Moana song. I'd like that. Just have Sora and Goofy chilling on the beach.
They should make a version of Let It Go for Quadratum called Keep It In.
As a side note for Axel, Martyr is trying to come into the call and is having a little bit of issues. There we go.
Hiya.
The Rock is the master of masters.
Oh my.
Good. How are you? Hope my audio is good.
Yeah. Talking.
Good.
Hello.
Good.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me fix it real quick. All right. Should be much better now. So we got Kingdom Hearts 4.
Right.
Most definitely.
Who knew?
The Rock is the master of masters.
God help us all.
Rock is the master of masters. Martyr, since you have not really been here, what are your thoughts kind of on what's the first thing that you thought of, like, that caught your eye in the trailer? or Kingdom Hearts 4?
First thing, really, his new haircut. It definitely seems like he's not, they said it in chat earlier, but nocticified. He's definitely got that shit haircut now. But I thought it was very interesting to see just him in an actual city with actual people. It's sort of like a thing I always thought of when I was a lot younger. Just the idea of him, in an actual city, almost being like a hero, that sort of thing.
Right. Right. How do you feel about the what is it? Secret link or missing link? How do you feel about that? Do you think it like
For
alludes
that,
to?
I think it definitely is going to allude to more or less the inner workings of Lushu's plan and how he's more or less going to try and betray the Master of Masters. I think it's pretty clear that we're going down that sort of line. So I think that game's more or less going to be just more of an insight on Lushu's dealings. And because we know he has a relation with Brain, we know Brain's going to be a major character in it. So I think more or less it's going to be just sort of the inner look into the inner workings of the plan that we just wouldn't be able to see in like a Cage 4.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. How do you feel about seeing Strelitzia?
Well, I know her fans are crazy at the moment because so many people thought she was just going to be more or less a one-off character, just dead right off the bat, more or less. But it's very nice to see that we have a bit more. We have more cast. I'm happy with more cast, and honestly, happy to hopefully have like a female character actually hopefully do something. Besides all,
yeah, for once that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about Kyrie game would be nice.
Yeah.
You mean to say Sakura?
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
No,
I mean, it goes hand
Sakura's
in
just
hand.
a character in Naruto that literally gets like little to no screen time, and
Useless.
She doesn't get yeah, she's nicknamed useless. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough
like,
arc.
At least Kyrie actually holds her own against the Xehanort for a little bit.
That's plot armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it still happened. No. What were you saying, Martyr?
Did it happen? I think it was just a melody of memory. Like I can't see that one.
I was gonna expand on the Sakura comparison. Yeah, so definitely she's more or less extremely compared to that character in that like shonen series because it's the similarities are uncanny except for personality. Personality is the only difference.
Yeah.
Except she doesn't refuse to not like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone think that the Reaper's game? Does anyone think that the Reaper's game has something to do with the lid? Oh, can you do your question?
Like not to cut you off, bro, but like look, like I have a question. Like, okay, me personally, I love Kyrie as a character, but what if Kyrie has a secret transformation, kind of like how Shion does when she was fighting Roxas?
I mean, she has.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, she has the wings, right? Or was that both Sora and Kyrie? They have the wings.
I think it was more of like the bond, you know.
Yeah, it was a combo move.
Yeah.
Combo move, yeah. No, that makes sense.
It'd be pretty cool.
But what is interesting that Kyrie and Sora do have the wings, and they do show that Darkseid with the wings in Quadrato. Like they make like that close up of both of the wings. Do you think Sora and Kyrie's light using that power could have created a Darkseid that matched it?
Oh, maybe. Maybe because Sora's so strong at that point That's
because they
what's
weren't in a
challenging him.
realm, right? They were like where were they? They were between the keyholes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been, you know, it's interesting.
Man, our
Because
comments
I
are
feel
like
like all the
destroying
dark
Kyrie
sides.
right now.
I know.
I mean, so I think it's very important to understand with the Kyrie situation and more or less other like female characters, discussion revolving around them. Just make like the point pretty clear. It's I think more or less all of us are like united in like hopefully Kyrie and like other characters get like a spotlight, that sort of thing. Like they contribute to the plot. Like Shion I think is probably like very likely to contribute to the plot. Just a really good written character in general. But I think just in terms of marketing and the inner workings of making a series, especially a series that's particularly similar to like a shonen series, like in Japan, the demographics they're going to be aiming towards are going to affect what we're going to see in the actual game. So it's particularly likely that we're probably not going to see anything crazy.
I mean, you never know. I hope so. It's always that hope in the back of the you know.
Yeah.
I feel like with anything that they've held this one off for a long time, so anything they give us here is going to be crazy no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what we saw today was crazy. Absolutely. Like just so many more. Like it answered like one question and it gave us like a million more. Kind of. But yeah. So Marta, I just wanted to ask. So what do you think of Sora's overall design? Like I know you touched on his haircut, but like what do you think of his overall like they slimmed down the baggy pants, they made him more realistic. His shoes look really nice actually.
I love that. He's wearing
I love his shoes. I really hope they release like things of his shoes. I want to buy those.
I'm wondering if it's a permanent thing or if it's just for this world. So
maybe, maybe he just changed because that's all they had.
You know, I think the outfit's probably going to stick. Oh, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think that the reason why Sora looks kind of different is because Quadratum is like the central hub for all of like, I don't know, it feels like all of whatever's happening in Zora's world, like I feel like Sora would be the collective dream, but how that world would conjure him. Like, do you think it's possible for someone in a dream to traverse outside of that dream?
I think it's definitely possible. We might go into the realm of more or less a dream within a dream, that sort of situation. I know lots of people are thinking that Quadratum is more or less going to be a gateway to more realistic sort of worlds, akin to Star Wars and that sort of thing. Even like Final Fantasy worlds. I think it's possible, but I do think that it's pretty important to look at Quadratum as a whole and just look back at, Kingdom Hearts 2 when that was not released yet and people were always talking about Twilight Town and thinking it was going to be a hugely impactful thing, which ultimately was really just the starter world, and then of course the world that never was the last world. So really, I'd say let's be wary of assuming it's going to be entirely Quadratum. I think it'd be definitely interesting, a good unique take for the series. I
think at least a big chunk of it, or some of it, is going to be Quadratum because that's the new shiny place that we all want to look at. And of course, we don't know how the Disney properties are going to work, or if it's going to be more like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or any other Square properties. We don't really know that much. I mean, be apart from the small possible Star Wars one with Endor, but it's pretty much all we know.
People are really picking up on that. I've seen that from like 8 or 10 different people in the chat. It really sounds like that's catching.
I mean, I don't know. I gotta get my tinfoil hats on, but I'm hoping for it at least a little bit. It's something new, you know. It's something.
Yeah, I think it would definitely work. Honestly, the connections are not matching. Like they wouldn't obviously match up 1-to-1, but I think doing something similar to like what happened in Monstropolis, where it's kind of like its separate own little story thing, could work.
Absolutely, yeah. It could be, or it could just follow the plot and just have Sora standing in the background. You know, we never know. It's kind of what
I
they did
think
with
it'd be
Frozen.
even cooler to like have the next Star Wars movie reference a character that once existed in that world, but like have Sora just hop in there, hop out. You know what I mean? Like not influence the world in general.
I mean, hey, even if he's in there for a second, I don't care.
What if there will be like, you know how like in Disney Castle, how to encounter the lingering will, right? You know how it's like one big portal that terror causes, right? And what if there's, you know how, just like how Axel was saying earlier in the live stream, that he was saying that, you know, Cloud and Sephiroth went up in the sky and disappeared. What if they cause a portal that connects the Final Fantasy realm, just like how you said, he'll go there just for a second, maybe just to battle it out with Sephiroth, and then he wins, gets a Keyblade or something, and then leave. You know, what if it's something like that?
Like
where it'll be like a subtle implication.
Even when Sora was following the Lich to get the rest of his friends' hearts back, like they were only at those worlds for a second for the little fight, and that was it. It could be something like that. Just as like a backdrop to have that.
That's one strong implication where they can like heavily indulge the Kingdom Hearts universe to the Final Fantasy universe, and maybe some things may travel through that link. Who knows?
Like even Sora going to like a Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross or one of those universes.
Chrono Cross would be so good.
Yeah, Chrono Cross.
I saw Cat Black in the chat mention that, and that would be that'd be super cool. I want like, of course I love the Disney crossovers, of course, but having more Square crossovers, especially with Final Fantasy, like that would be awesome. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Right, it'd be such
it's something we've never seen
refreshing format too.
I'm still rooting for the Resident Evil crossover.
I want all the blood and gore.
I need a Resident Evil crossover. Leon and Leon from Final Fantasy.
Leon
from Kingdom Hearts. All need to have a moment.
I mean, hey, Resident Evil 2 could work.
We need to take out Ashley though. Ashley's a no-go.
Yeah, no, please no. Ashley Graham, please no.
I would love what is her name? Ada from Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, but the mold from
that would be insane.
Resident
As
Evil
like
7.
a Shion. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like the mold from Resident Evil 7 can, fall in line with the story of Kingdom Hearts. I mean, the mold just looks like one giant
because
artless.
the vaccine. With the vaccine, they're trying to create eternal life. And I mean, feel like with the Shinra Corporation's goal to create a body that can hold raw energy, and Kingdom Hearts having the replica program, I feel like they could all really go along the same lines there.
Yeah. I think that if they did Resident Evil 8, they would most likely do the same thing they did with the actual Resident Evil 8 and just market, goth vampire girl.
Yeah.
That'd be some good marketing.
Lady Dimitrescu is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't remember her name.
Lady Dimitrescu.
They did the same thing. Yeah. I mean, Square Enix for Paradise, they just marketed this arrogant, angry, hard stop guy. And I feel like everyone would brush him off as a jokey kind of thing, but it is the most different character that I think I've seen in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
That game got a lot of flack. I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't a typical Final Fantasy, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I still have the demo. I still haven't beat the demo. I haven't actually bought the game yet. I keep procrastinating. But if we were gonna get any other
weird and good,
What's like a Wish crossover besides like Resident Evil? Like I think a Persona crossover would be kind of interesting, having like Sora in that kind of art style, or like another World's Ends with
Near
one.
Automata.
Near Automata, yeah.
Near,
there we go.
Near Automata.
I think.
Yeah,
I think.
I actually enjoyed that.
I think they'd have to cut out a little bit of the nudity, but you know. Well.
Yeah, I mean because I mean they did censor Aqua.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean,
I want
Automata,
like Square
Resident
Enix
Evil,
to make like
all
games
those
for
be
like their
amazing.
older fans and younger ones.
Oh, exactly. Obviously, you know, Kingdom Hearts is a child-friendly.
I wouldn't say that
thing. Well, okay,
when I was a kid playing Kingdom Hearts 1, I was scared as hell. Man, like, just think about it. You are like
I don't think
a 5-year-old kid. Like
it's geared and marketed
changed the way I process anything after that.
Oh, that game was deep. Jeez.
Yeah, you got people killing themselves in Kingdom Hearts 1 for other people. You know, hence Sora.
Yeah,
and I mean, the whole Riku and Rox situation is very, very dark, to say the least.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then you have like, you know,
and then Reach Chain of Memories
tall roaches that go on the floor and then you can't hit them anymore. And then they come back up.
Reach Chain of Memories when like when Dark Riku kills like everyone. Or like half the organization members.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a good time. I like that.
Yeah, but that's why I say like definitely that's why like I don't even understand why it is projected towards children, but like it's a lot of different
the fun Disney characters.
Yeah, true, but then it's like, you know, look at what these Disney characters are doing. You know, like it's not like something to where they're doing like, you know, normal Disney movie-esque things. They're like doing real like, you know, like crazy stuff, I should say. You have Mickey Mouse fighting grown men. You have
and using magic.
Goofy, you know, killing things, right? And then
like, Goofy dying in one cutscene.
Yeah, Donald dying too. I mean, there's many different things that gain from it. We have, you know, Mickey Mouse in Dream Drop Distance literally getting choked out by Xemnas. You know, we have.
And then, you know, Master Eric is trying to kill Roxas. Mark Hamill trying to do the same thing in Last Jedi. But, you know, that, and then Master Eric is dying himself. No, I saw a comment one time. I'm like, they were like, you know, besides Joker, why is every single character Mark Hamill play have to be a teacher that failed a student to try to kill him? It's happened twice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but like that's one thing I say is like when it comes to games necessarily being like marketed towards children, there's just a lot of different aspects that makes it like, you know, more like it's marketed towards children, but secretly marketed towards like, you know, teenagers and adults. Because there's a lot of things in Kingdom Hearts where you can't, you know, as a child, there are some advanced children out there, but you know, you can't really fathom half of the things we're talking about as a child.
I can't even fathom half the things we're talking about right now.
Exactly my point. Like, it's just, there's a lot of things to gain because, like, even the whole Roxas situation and seeing, like I said, Sora impaling himself with the Keyblade of Heart, like, you know, as a kid, that's a lot to like gather, and there's a lot to be influenced by. So that's why I say that it shouldn't really be, you know, an E for everyone game. I feel like it should definitely be a teenage like rated game.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it got that back in the day before E10 rating came out, like before it was just E and T. But no, I agree. I want the M-rated Kingdom Hearts game with the Resident Evil crossover. It's still a Metal Gear for just to be safe.
We got Sora versus Wesker. Let's go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Let's get a knife fight like Leon did.
Exactly.
I would actually be down for that. That'd be really fun.
Have you guys discussed the change of engines?
It's Unreal Engine 5, right?
Are they on Unreal 5?
I think they confirmed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I believe they did. I saw somewhere that they did. I just don't have. I just don't have a link for it.
Yeah. So I was wondering what your guys' thoughts on it in terms of the development. You think it's a right choice, or you think it's the wrong one?
I mean, Unreal Engine 4 is very similar to Unreal Engine 5. I mean, I'm not a game developer. I've dabbled in it a little bit, but I know that, you can take your Unreal Engine 4 projects and port them into Unreal Engine 5 with no problems.
Yeah.
Like that being a main feature of it. I think it's in good hands. I know they're going to be fine with it. Of course, growing pains of a new engine, but still, there's the resources now that they wouldn't have had back in the day. I just hope that they don't have like the floatiness that Sora kind of had in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I know you probably know what I'm talking about.
It's the Osaka team. That's why, like, anytime the Osaka team inside of Osaka, Japan, Square Enix, anytime their team works on Kingdom Hearts, it tends to be floaty. They did
I don't mind
Birth
it,
by
but
Sleep,
still.
they did Dream Drop Distance, and they did Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's just, that's one thing I wanted to say is when you look at, and I understand it is alpha gameplay, it's not near the beta yet. And like, I just feel like it is very floaty when we see him do parkour, and some frames you can see it as very floaty.
Yeah,
like when
tell.
he spins on the pole, it looks very slow and floaty. It doesn't look that great.
I mean, of course, this is all subject to change.
But yeah, of course, it's gonna change soon enough. I mean, the same things with Kingdom Hearts 3 changed, but I just hope that they make it a little bit more fluid. There's more particles, that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they obviously worked on the environment and the models and the textures and all that first. That's why I mentioned that they used a few of the flow motion animations just for that like little part, which makes sense. They're not going to redo like completely new animations just for that. Obviously, they're going to use all the textures and stuff. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And at least for the floatiness for Dream Drop, that actually works for Dream Drop because of the flow motion. Because the levels were so vertical, that actually makes sense having a floaty jump. But at least for Kingdom Hearts 3, it wasn't that great. Like, and the animations could be better. Like, at least that's why there's a mod for Kingdom Hearts 3, which like allows you to cancel out of animations, so you can just be able to turn faster and all that. It's a very, very good mod. I wish that's how it was for default.
I saw this mod, but I wanted to kind of be more similar to Stranger of Paradise, but the mod essentially had magic on one button, but you would move the right stick to change your magic between like fire, thunder, etc. And I would love that to be implemented for Kingdom Hearts, because I feel like the command menu, I would rather have potions in it than magic.
I like the command menu. I like it. I just
menu,
think it needs
quick menu.
Yeah,
not the command menu.
Yeah, no, I agree. The quick menu. I don't know how they would do it because I'm trying to think in my head. I can't really think on the spot. But making the command menu a little bit more fluid, maybe. I'm trying to think, because obviously they're gonna want to keep, because the command menu is so iconic. But
because if you take
like
out the magic from like the actual command menu and putting it on like one button and then moving your right stick, it could work so well, because it would also work it'd work in the format of whenever there's a link command or a triangle reaction command, that would come fourth thing, and it would be the most important,
Square Pear says, what do you guys think? What do you guys think build is for? I saw this before today when I was scrolling. But
I did see that earlier today.
Someone translated the bottom one instead of link. It's actually build, I believe so. So we don't actually know. I saw someone else made a comment and it was like, "Oh, Sora's playing Fortnite too much." But I think that
I think it could be data.
It could be data. I think that the build one could be like how we saw the drill. I think that build could be like build it with data or light or something. It looked more like light, so he could build Green Lantern, but he can build like things that he's done before. So I feel like we'd probably lean more on Kingdom Key. We'd still get other Keyblades, of course, but I'd feel like they'd lean more on the Kingdom Key as maybe like a plot thing more this time.
So with with shadows like moving into the ground, right? And Sora mimicking that power with flow motion and using light
Ooh,
to
that would
like
be
go underneath
awesome.
the ground, right? Do you think that it's possible for Sora to learn something like that? Because he
I
can
could
mimic the
see them.
darkness,
I could
like
see them having that as like a lore thing,
um
him learning to do that, and also using that in like a gameplay thing for like a dash or something you can unlock.
there's one specific boss in Kingdom Hearts 3 that reminds me of Build, and it's in Kingdom of Corona, and it's that horse that runs around, but it
Hmm.
builds that tower. And then you have to break that tower down. And that's
We have
kind
to-
of what reminds me of the Wreck-It Ralph thing, Link, because he builds it and then knocks it down, just like that Heartless Tower. So I think that build thing is very interesting because it reminds me of building data and then like decoding it all, like in Tron, the command thing where you're deleting the data of the what's his name, the rogue program in Kingdom Hearts 2, when you do the like reaction command and all those little data forms come out. It's like triangle shaped and they start spinning.
Yeah, yeah.
That is really interesting because Yuzora has moves that even mimic that.
Huh.
You know,
I like
I
the idea.
think.
Go ahead.
Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say I like the idea of him using data for like his weapons or the power of light. I definitely think one of those two to get like Keyblade transformations or something. I think that's a very good theory.
Like I feel
And
like build, right, is to build data. And what if you could build the Keyblade to be a longer whip? To do like you build it using the data of Quadratum, kind of like you're storing like cookies in cache data, and then you decode it when you don't need it anymore.
Huh. New mechanic. I like
Because it
it.
reminds me of recoded Sora having a data Keyblade, and that data Keyblade working the same way as it did in the real realm, decoding and getting rid of the darkness inside that data.
you know, I think the Yuzora flag definitely alludes to a lot of data implications with Quadratum. And I think just understanding the fact that Quadratum for the new game and then Quadratum for just the Yuzora fight were made more or less at the same time, I imagine, because it's a lot of assets, so they wouldn't want to repeat it. So we can more or less understand that when they made the Yuzora fight, they already came to an understanding of what Quadratum is. So they obviously would plant hints as to what it really
Mm.
is, which I think it probably is leaning towards something data-wise, but it's complicated.
I have
But what it
another
is in
question
Kingdom
to
Hearts.
bounce off of that. I don't know if anyone here watches anime and has seen Fate, like Fate Zero, Fate Apocrypha, like that
Yeah.
whole Fate series. But do you think that Yuzora's reality marble, can be mimicked by Sora in like any like a data realm? You know what I mean? And like Sora thinks he leaves that realm, but now it's creating two definitive like timelines where Square is kind of doing this one thing in the real world, and then there's other stuff happening in the data world that Sora's like trying to fix from like, so then maybe get the two both sides, but outside of the Kingdom Hearts realm.
I can see them going for some sort of similar concept. Yeah.
You know,
I
I
think
think
yeah.
just for Quadratum, so we get the quote that it's more of an afterworld, which is basically an afterlife technically, which
Yeah.
seems to it just seems to implicate that it's past the realm of light, like it's past the realm of light and it's past the final world, which
And
maybe
it's
means
past Kingdom Hearts.
is it
Right.
past Kingdom Hearts or is it Kingdom Hearts? That's my question.
Well, Kingdom Hearts is light, so would there be darkness in it? Because even when Ansem, right? No, even the Kingdom Hearts 1, when he tried to go into it, and he was like, "Oh, I know for a fact that Kingdom Hearts is light." Like, would even him, he got destroyed by the light. So even would darkness be able to go in? And even when Xehanort went in with Ericus, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, he just turned to light. Like, he wasn't any darkness left in him because he just gave up. So, I mean, it's possible that Sora just brought it in with him, but, you know, I could see it being past Kingdom Hearts because of, do you remember in the secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 where I'm assuming Master Masters comes up on the building and he folds his hand in the shape of a heart. So this obviously isn't Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts doesn't exist in this unreality. So I'm assuming it's past it because he wouldn't be doing that if he was in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it would look like he was bringing Kingdom Hearts to Quadratum,
or he wanted to, or he wanted to make it like Kingdom Hearts, but like with his like role in it.
I have something weird that I kind of noticed. Like this trailer in general is very like orange toned, especially when it comes to the Kingdom Hearts 4. And do you think that like it could be like the Kingdom Hearts trailer and the Verum Rex trailer, but like together, right? Showing that Riku's in this like blue dark world and Sora's in this orange world with the sunrise. Because it reminds me very much of like the Realm of Darkness and the Realm of Light, but with Sora on the other side and Riku closing himself on the side of darkness.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is.
Actually.
I'll just say briefly. I think the big question is whether or not Square would want to go ahead and implement a sort of time aspect, like day and light system for Quadratum, and I lean towards they probably won't want to. But it'd be interesting if they did. But I lean towards that they won't, mainly because number one, to my knowledge, they haven't done it before, so they're not particularly experienced in that. And number two, if they just have one part of it that's light and have it be daytime, and one part of it that's dark and have it be dark, I think it'd be fitting.
Weather changes would be nice.
Weather, yes.
Ooh, weather, yeah, rain effects. I mean,
yeah, like that would be nice. Like,
go ahead.
I'm not saying it would be nice because, like, imagine like if Quadratum starts snowing, or like if it's raining, and that like affects how you fight in battle.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, not like too much.
Not dramatically, but I'm saying like a certain
rain or.
Yeah, like if you use thunder, that
if you
gives
think
you
about
a
it
boost
too,
because it's raining.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
If you think about it too, Stranger of Paradise actually has environmental like effects, especially with fire. If you use fire on grass, you'll burn. You have to jump out of the fire.
Exactly.
So that would be insane, and it would be a good way in Stranger of Paradise for them to get used to the mechanic to develop it for Kingdom Hearts. I feel like recently Kingdom Hearts has been the perfected version of the Final Fantasy games that come out mechanics-wise.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Square Pair says,
would
and it also
pay for anything less, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Square Pair also said, and it changes the enemies you face too, when it's like, you know, different nighttime or, you know, daytime or raining or thundering or whatever.
That'd be interesting.
Cool. Having like tougher enemies at nighttime, or having, you know, like whatever certain like elemental enemies during the rain or something that are, you know, weak or strong against certain magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What if there was like because Kingdom Hearts realm, right, goes back and forth in time, right? What if during the daytime time flows forward and during the night time flows backwards, but you have to stop the Gigas like from causing more darkness so that they don't turn the time back further than it needs to be?
That's interesting.
Because it would be time working both forward and backwards in Quadratum.
That is
true. I mean, I know that Strelitzia says that Sora's been there, at least in the trailer. She says that Sora's been there for, I think, a few weeks, I believe. I think that's what she says.
Yeah. Or she said, I know you just got here a week ago or something like that. Yeah, 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, you were sleeping for a week.
Yeah, 7 days ago. Yep.
So yeah, it brings forth the question of, is he going to be awake for 13 days? And then what happens after that? Just because there's a number sequence.
Yeah. So what if there's like a
Oh.
drop gauge, kind of like Dream Drop Distance had? What if there's something like that?
That's like Lightning Returns. There's like 13 days.
Yeah, like there's just a certain amount of time that you can do stuff, and then when you drop at Sora, you wake up in Riku's version of Quadratum, or you wake up in the reality realm of Kingdom Hearts.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I'm not huge on the drop system, and I like
Yeah, me
it,
neither,
but they
but,
would have to fix it to be like,
Yeah,
it could be a
like
drop system, but you can like if you
willingly
get to
do it.
if you get to low, like you'll just have like a debuff or something, like less health or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like getting kicked out of the middle of a fight would be
Boss
really
fight.
annoying.
On
Yeah, but
critical,
that's the
yeah,
thing. It wouldn't
that's-
happen in boss fights. But I'm saying, like, if you're just, running around leveling up, it will happen. Like
That'd be cool. No, I'd like that. Yeah, it's similar to how
Yeah.
it works in Dream Drop.
exactly. Yeah.
Something I've always wanted them to do is give us like a story similar to the structure of Birth by Sleep, where we can get everyone's story, but then I want a gameplay mode where everyone's story lines up. You know what I mean? Like play an hour,
Yeah.
next character, play an hour, next character.
That's what I was saying.
Just to
Like,
give both formats,
Yeah.
because
It would make it a lot easier to understand and keep track of.
exactly. Like, let Kingdom Hearts 4 be playable in chapters. Like chapter 1, you could play as, for example, catch up with what all the trios are doing. Then later on, we can catch up with Riku and his arrival in Quadratum, and then Sora. You can play as Sora.
Yeah, well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like all the
that
chapters,
would be really
the
cool.
chapters for the
Yeah.
other Kingdom Hearts games were Disney World start, Disney World end. That's the chapter, and then once you finish 1 or 2, cutscene or
Yeah.
whatever, and then that would be a chapter. So for this, we don't know if there's gonna be Disney Worlds. We don't know if there's gonna be Final Fantasy Worlds. We don't know what. So
Yeah.
there had to be some sort of new chapter system, kind of like how I
Do
think
you
Final
think-
Fantasy Remake does. It has like chapters.
Yeah.
yeah, 1 to 18.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I would love that.
to speak on the 7 days of sleep and 13 days awake situation, I haven't played. I think it's Final Fantasy 13 or something like that. But the one with the lightning character,
Lightning,
the
yeah.
pink head character, lightning. Yeah. But I know that at one point in the game, I think it's the sequel to it. I don't know. But I know it from people who've mentioned it before. And in the game at one point, apparently it's some civilization has only a certain amount of days to survive until they all go extinct or something of that sort. I think it's something biblical.
Ooh,
At least
Oh,
sounds
wait.
biblical proportions.
That's that's Final Fantasy 13.
That's
3?
Lightning Returns,
No.
isn't it?
Lightning Returns. Yeah, Lightning Returns.
Yeah.
I
That's the
didn't-
third one because 13-2.
See,
that's
what
the one
would
that I
it-
played.
it would be really interesting if there's one point in time where you have to travel to Quadratum at that point in time, and for the characters in the Kingdom Hearts realm, they would have to travel, like Sora would have to reset the time for them to travel at that time, right? But they would all have to like get
Yeah.
there to do this giant goal before they fight Yuzora.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes lots of sense, honestly.
Because
What do you
that's the
guys
only
think
way,
the
like, I
karma
think they
is?
would get there one by one and also be able to have Final Fantasy characters for that extra oomph. Because the Final Fantasy characters would be the ones who know how to travel outside dimensions, not just worlds.
Hey, Square Pair. You said I wish we got Next Gen's idea instead we got a mobile game. Can you elaborate on what Next Gen's idea was? I actually haven't heard anything about that. I'm just curious. Not to interrupt the subject, but
Is Next
Yeah,
Gen
no, I
another
mean-
content creator, or is he referring
I-
to Next Generation?
Yeah.
A novelist.
Oh, okay,
Next gen
okay.
novelist.
Next Gen now. Okay, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like what you guys are saying about the whole like timed thing where you have to do this, which
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, the one that everyone always brings up is Majora's Mask, of course. Like I don't like being timed when I play games, especially if it's like in game. But if they do it in a smart way, I wouldn't mind it. Like if it was kind of like it's
Yeah.
timed in the lore, but you could kind of take your time, like with Breath of the Wild. Like you're supposed to like
I would
kind
love
of
it
fight
if
Ganon quick,
like
but you can just keep not doing it.
right, I would love if you can hop into like a dream world to level up, like you do in Kingdom Hearts 3 Scala, where you hop into like the dream portals, right, to level
Mhm.
up, right?
Yeah.
And you level up like separately, and then you can use that level up, however much power, to reverse the time or whatever in Quadratum.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that you
For
when you're leveling up, time is not actually passing, and you can just be really strong canonically in the story.
mhm.
What if you have to
With
gather some sort of artifact? Not to cut you off, but like,
oh,
how do you gather like a certain artifact? Like, for example, like what you're
Well,
saying with like Lux to do that to reset the time. Like, what if you have to gather something like Lux inside of Kingdom Hearts Key to reset the time?
right, and I think the way that it would be transferred is through the Keyblade that Sora and Xehanort formed.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it would be a dream world where darkness still works the same way, right? Stratum would be working differently because there's no light and darkness. What is it going to work under? It has to be time.
Yeah.
so for what I'm
Squarefair said similar. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
just for what I'm leaning towards for the start of Cage 4 and how that's going to go, I think it's going to more or less be another Rock situation where we start the game as Sora, and then at one point get switched to another character, or characters in that case. But I think that the situation that Sora's in, while like very like interesting, and like very different for Kingdom Hearts, I do think that more or less what's probably going to happen is Quadratum's going to be the first and final world. I lean towards, mainly because I don't think that they're going to entirely, number one, have it be in this world, because then they would have to make characters for the world, and that would expand the cast tremendously. And secondly, I think it's more of a trap, at least as it seems at the moment. I think Strelitzia, while is a good character, may be manipulated by the Master of Masters for some nefarious purposes.
I like that. What do you guys think of the karma aspect? Because it looks like darkness is being introduced into Quadratum, but on the back of the Verum Rex game, there was like, they talked about the Gigases, they talked about like the karma. Like, how do you think that's going to work, especially if darkness has now entered Quadratum? Like, will they both be there?
I think they're probably going to be abandoned. I think the Gigas, like the Gigas and whatnot, I think maybe may allude to something like technological, but I think the Gigas themselves are pretty unlikely to appear, just since, unless they look completely different, I think they'd be very out of place, which is strange because it's not used to, we're not used to having like Sora be so realistic looking. So.
Not to interrupt, but I do have to get going. So thank you all for coming to chat. If you're on my channel, I don't know if it's going to kick you off of the live. So I would strongly suggest hopping over to
Nope,
any of
it's
the.
actually not. Nope, it'll turn off when the stream actually ends.
Okay,
So.
cool. Excellent. Well, thank you all for coming out to chat. Sorry I got to go. But I had a good time. I hope y'all did too.
No, I
Thanks
did
so much for coming.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming on.
definitely.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Mistake. But yeah, apparently this stream's been going on my channel since you guys started. So I had people hop into my chat like, "Where is he?"
I know.
Your voice.
Yeah, same thing happened to me as well.
Oh yeah, you got
I
him on
think
the
it's
chat.
because when you like connected to the group, it kind of did it all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He left us high and dry.
So what I have a weird question. Like what mythology do you think that Quadratum and or wherever Sora ends up and Riku ends up could be? Like what like Xehanort is very Norse mythos. Um, I feel like it could be anything.
I don't really know how much mythology they're gonna bring into Kingdom Hearts because obviously there's some Greek mythology, but that's just with Hercules.
Odin.
That's Greek mythology. Yeah. No, Odin. Yeah, that's right.
And that's not Greek. That's Norse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Odin. But
I'm spacing out. I can't remember.
Pretty much, it seems. I do a God of War. I do God of War content on my channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of the mythos stuff. And it seems more or less Nomura is taking concepts from Norse myth primarily at the moment. Concepts from Norse myth and concepts slightly from Christianity, and sort of merging them together. So it seems that ultimately we're not going. We're going to see allusions to things. So like one character in I think Dark Road's name is Balder, and Balder in Norse myth dies, and it basically starts something called Fimbulwinter, which leads to Ragnarok, which is the end of days. So so for that sort of situation, it's pretty likely that that character will die, but it's not necessarily being like, oh well, that character is going to die, and then his father. It's illusions. It's similar to I know some people believe that Destiny Islands is a substitute for sort of the island of like Eve and like Adam in like Christian canon.
Like the garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and of course the Shinto stuff's also involved. Just for a very small example, you know why Radiant Garden is supposed to be like a bastion of light and goodness? It's because all of the waterworks. Like you may have played Birth by Sleep and thought it was a bit strange that there's so much water. Like it's mainly because in Shinto, water constantly being moved is a state of purity. So just slow moving water or just static water, which what we might like see in something like the Realm of Darkness, that's sort of a symbol of like sin or impurity.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Huh.
Nice.
Do you think the Cave of Remembrance that they added to the remixes, do you think those are in any way more impactful to Hollow Bastion Radiant Garden? Do you think it's just there? I mean, obviously they had to pick a spot.
Honestly, I may be losing some cred. I've never played the remix in full. I've played 1 in full, but I haven't played 2 yet. So it's on my list.
That's fair. I mean, I played 2.5, but I haven't beaten 1 yet. So, I'm kind of on the same boat.
Yeah.
I'll admit that at least. But yeah, there's in the 2.5 remix that they did, they added they added the lingering whale boss fight, and they added the Cave of Remembrance, which you have to use all your drive forms and stuff to get through it.
Yeah.
You have to be a high enough level. And then there's a gauntlet that took me like 3.5 hours to get through because I was under leveled just to get to the data fights. And there's a lot of, it's just like how Hollow Bastion was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 with all the waterfall and all that, with the flowing up. I don't know if it's any relevance to Kingdom Hearts 4 or anything, but I just thought I'd mention it.
Very interesting. It's a waterfall that flows upwards?
Yeah, I believe so. I could be wrong. I might be hallucinating, but I believe it flows upwards.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a reference to...
See, I would
Sounds
love to
familiar.
bring something to your attention.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of you noticed, but not only do the links not appear as physical forms in Kingdom Hearts 3, but the Moogles don't as well. Do you think that Moogles and Chirithes can exist at the same time?
I mean, it's a good question.
Because Chirithes and
I'd say
Moogles both have
probably.
the pockets with everything in them. And even in Crystal Chronicles, there's something called the Moogle pocket, which allows you to hold anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it's weird that we all like you don't see actual like any actual Moogles. Like Mog, the Moogle that's his name, like in the realm, he's not there. It's a hologram of him.
Maybe he settled down in Hollow Bastion or Raiden Garden, I guess. Settled down, made a shop. Couldn't go all to these worlds again.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Saw
it's weird
Cloud and
because
Air
there's
the
like
rest
that
of them.
light portal underneath a crystal and then the Moogle.
Interesting.
So, do you guys think? Because at the end of the trailer, we see who I'm pretty certain is Hades. Do you think we'll see Kingdom Hearts characters besides like Maleficent maybe take like a larger role? I know that's something everyone's wanted ever since like Kingdom Hearts
I
1.
mean, if it, more than likely that is Hades, but I do feel like Hades is probably going to get a much bigger role. But I mean, they did build that up in Kingdom Hearts 3 when you're inside of the Mount Olympus world. They were asking him about the black box, and he doesn't know about it, of course. But like, I feel like maybe Maleficent will bring him out of the Mount Olympus world,
and kind of catch up to speed.
Yeah, like maybe they can bring him out of the world.
Yeah.
Like, Maleficent can teach him, and then Pete can teach him how to call onto Heartless and stuff like that, and try to release the darkness in his heart, and then he can possibly be like one of the enemies that Sora has to worry about when it comes to meddling with the timelines of worlds.
Well, the thing at the end with the Hades and all that, we don't even know if that's like part of Kingdom Hearts 4, if that's like a show or something. So I mean, we're kind of just basing it on. Yeah, I mean, it could be part of what's happening in Kingdom Hearts 4. I still don't know if that'd be the show or not, but
I feel like anything Disney related is connected at this point, and I feel like Kingdom Hearts is the backlog story to connect them all.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's weird.
One giant melting pot.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, there's just so much to think about with this.
Oh, seriously. Woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, man, there's so much to talk about.
Right. Honestly, I'm like just sitting here
like
thinking about the next thing, and I'm like,
yeah, I just can't think about so much different things.
I'm glad we got on the mobile game though, because I know more people have been psyched about Kingdom Hearts 4, of course, respectively. It's expected, but the mobile game does look pretty interesting. I'll say that. At least with the lore implications, the gameplay looks really fun. Multiplayer, first multiplayer one besides Union.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. If they drop that multiplayer version on Switch and then port it to console, I think
that would be nice.
Much happier with it than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just hope it's not a, Pokemon Go kind of thing. I think that'd be really lame. I really think that would kill it before you even get off the ground. Well, that's the thing, right? So it's like the Pokemon Go one, and you see how crazy the gameplay is. You really think people are gonna walk over to some battle spot and then just stand on the side of the sidewalk where you complete a 5-minute battle? Pokemon Go, you were just swiping.
Yeah. Police officers are like, "Are you okay, sir?"
Yeah, let's hope no one else crashed into a police car this time.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh my gosh.
Nah, but I don't know. I ever since someone kind of made that theory about it being like a Pokemon Go thing, I'm like, I don't want to be wary about it. I really hope it's like a proper mobile game.
Yeah.
That has the action combat of the regular one. Of course, we haven't seen the HUD or anything, but And plus, it takes place between Union and Dark Road, I believe. I think.
Yeah, it has to, because Brain's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, where else could it take place? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think it's so funny how Brain is outside the Kingdom Hearts realm, and like he would be like the best thinker, I think, in the whole realm, except for Xehanort.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that Sora says hi to his mom in the next 20 years before Kingdom Hearts 5 comes out.
Honestly.
Obviously,
do you actually think we'll ever bring the parents in? Like, as a real question?
I really don't think so. I mean, if they were gonna, they would have by now, because Sora's like almost 20, probably. I don't know. I mean,
every time you say that, I just can't take it serious, man.
I don't know. Okay, maybe he's like 18. He looks 18.
He looks a lot
It's probably just the art style, but
like I said, is Quadratum's timescape more like accelerated versus how the Realm of Darkness is and the real world?
Sora with a beard. That's gonna happen one day.
That's true.
Maybe a day counts for like a month. Who knows? You know, like
at least for Sora, because everyone else is the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that Sora's Keyblade changed specifically because the world's like laws work differently in Quadratum, or wherever
maybe
he
it's
is?
something he picked. Maybe it's something he picked up and was like, "Hey, I'm going to try this." But it could be what you said. It could just be, because it works different.
That's one thing I will say is like maybe that scene where he's fighting the giant, the giant dark side. Maybe that doesn't happen in the beginning of Sora's introduction to Quadratum. Maybe they just captured it like that for the trailer, because like something like that, I feel like Sora shouldn't know how to do that off jump when you just start the game. I feel like that's something you have to level up and then gain the ability, and then you can do it. But like the only character we know with that type of experience with a Keyblade is Terra / the Lingering Will to make,
Right.
And that's another thing I wanted to bring to your attention is, do you think, since we have traditional Keyblade transformations, do you think we're going to get a glider now, or maybe some Keyblade armor?
Keyblade armor would be nice.
Because a glider like Ventus's would be sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sora can Sora glide though, like can Sora glide? Can he still glide? Because we don't see him glide.
I mean, that's usually a staple in all Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah, no.
With Sora, but still, like I would love to see.
There.
Yeah, like I would like to see him have like a Keyblade glider.
That'd be pretty interesting.
It would be nice.
He just uses like a helicopter.
We have about 10 minutes left. If anyone in the chat wants to throw all of their last thoughts, then we can answer them.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just looked at the time now.
If anyone wants to give like their final thoughts on how they feel and what they're most excited about, that'd be cool.
Everything?
Everything.
Not a valid answer?
Yeah.
That's totally valid.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
like I have to look into the stuff that I don't feel more excited about, and then I'll probably be excited again.
I'm actually surprised we got Kingdom Hearts 4. I didn't think we needed another side game before it. I wasn't of that category, but still, I didn't think it would be there so fast. And yeah, that really shocked me.
Yeah.
I really thought we are going to get some Verum Rex prequel thing before
like a 0.2 type of game.
Yeah, no, like 3.9 or something like that.
Well, who knows? That might be implicated because remember, we knew about Kingdom Hearts 3 for years, and then they still released 2.8 and 0.2 to like fill the blanks. So there's still a possibility that a 3.5 remix or a 3.8 remix may happen.
That'd be kind of cool. I still think one day we're going to be able to play as Yuzora. It just might not be Yuzora. It might be who he actually is.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really, really interesting. If
I still hope that Dylan Sprouse still voices him.
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can we put that? Can we put that?
What
in
if Dylan? Wait. What if Dylan Sprouse voices one version of Yuzora and Cole Sprouse voices a different version of Yuzora?
That'd be pretty.
That
funny.
would be cool.
They'd just be playing mind games at that point.
Exactly.
We have.
He
Can
already
we
does
have
play
more?
mind games.
Can we have more Drake Bell as young master Ericus?
Yeah, for real, he did a great job for Ericus. I'm not gonna lie, he did a pretty good job.
I agree.
I enjoyed his voice acting. It was definitely top tier.
Yeah, obviously allegations and all that aside, I still think he's a good voice actor.
That woman is a liar in my book.
Yeah. Yeah.
To a certain extent. just trying to defend Ericus, but yeah. Yeah, but
Square Pair says if there's a story mode with quests and then another where you upgrade your keyblades. I think that was an older comic though. Sorry.
Is that like the Pokemon Go aspect?
Yeah.
Kind of walk around to upgrade your keyblades?
That does sound like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, no, I think that walking around to
I feel like that's
the main gameplay. Like Force, but like the main gameplay would be like the fighting and all that. But like you could also like a side part of it would be walking around and doing all that stuff. I just hope they'd give us an avenue to not have to do that. Because like the first thing that came out was like a hack where you can just use a a joystick, a touch joystick to just walk around and just make your character go wherever you want in Pokemon Go, which is pretty funny. I don't want to hear any more stories of people getting arrested because they're going into private property to find Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or Keyblades.
You see, the game says to attack the Heartless, you just punch a random guy in the face.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Just as a one-off, that'd be pretty funny. But you said that's confirmed, but apparently you don't have to walk around physically. Okay, that's fine. If it's like a walk, you walk around in game. That's fine. You explore a city. That'd be fine with me.
Imagine if, like, in the Quadratum world, COVID happened.
Yeah. Kingdom of Corona actually gets Corona.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no. Did you notice that in Melody Memory they changed it to Fairy Tale Kingdom?
Yeah, they didn't say the name of Kingdom of Corona in Melody.
Yeah, they just said Fairy Tale Kingdom.
Really?
Yeah, because Corona just, in fairness, Corona like just happened. So
yeah,
that was a last minute change.
Prevalent at that point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Japan's actually closed from travelers, so that's like another reason on top of that.
Yeah, they're still closed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking I was just thinking like the event happened in Japan, right? But then I'm saying like if there's another event that happens in America, I would definitely go. Like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah. I doubt that they do it.
Like D23 happened September 9th, so
that'd be fun. Like, I'm glad that the world is opening up still, at least for America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but at least for here, it's opening up somewhat. I know Japan and Asia and all those countries kind of aren't. And even for like the event obviously was for Japan people only, but it's not like everyone in Japan got the broadcast in Shibuya that this is what's happening. There's only people at the event. So even if you lived in Japan, you had to be one of the lucky few of probably the 200 people that could go because of the restrictions.
Yeah.
And then even that, you would be an NDA and you still have to not say anything until all the stuff comes out. So it's just you'd have to be, and the way that Japan does their they do a lottery system. So you have to put in so you have to apply to be able to purchase your tickets. So it's not even you win them. You have to apply to be able to purchase them. So it's just it's not like living in Japan guarantees you get to go. Probably mostly content creators and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel bad that we didn't really get it on the same time because not even Japan got it at the same time.
I'm just happy we got an update this morning.
I thought it was going to come out Monday, and I'd be like, dang, I'm at work.
Yeah, I still think that with how much Disney is actually really popular in America, I think that if they did something like that, even in New York and like San Diego or San Francisco, like two sides of the country, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
That would work, yeah.
it could work.
Yeah.
It could. I just feel like we're
Sonny
we're not
Novus,
at that point
how
to
are
where
you? You feel like you're at the point to where?
I feel like I don't feel like we're at the point to where Kingdom Hearts is a household name. I feel like they'd only do that if it was like Final Fantasy maybe. Like I think like something as like it would have to be like
Right.
everyone knows about it to where it would be
Like
beneficial.
Star
At least
Wars.
they would think it'd be. Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
D23. Like there's one here, and I believe there's one in Japan too.
Right. Because I feel like now more than ever, I feel like I've seen way more Kingdom Hearts fans now than I ever have.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. And Sora and Smash just rose that up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Sora's never going to be in Smash, guys.
Yeah.
Don't. It's not going to happen.
Well,
you got
many
it
people
the
said it
most.
wasn't going to happen.
I saw your video a while ago. The one that you're like, oh, I'm gonna eat the disc. That one blew up. You're gonna eat the disc if you order it.
That was crazy. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. But
That's the video I saw.
I believed it. I mean,
well, were you gonna cook it or just?
I was honestly just gonna just take a chip out of it,
yeah,
just do that. But I didn't really think I ever had to, and yeah, it's
you were right. You kind of dodged
reality
the bullet
ever
on that.
turned out.
Yeah. So funny.
We're truly living in the best timeline right now.
Truly. Oh.
I just think maybe obviously we did get a lot of information. There's gonna be a lot of speculation on it, but I just want more, you know? We got the information dump. I just want more. I want answers. I want the release date, you know?
I agree.
Not to buy a PS5 for this, because I doubt they'll release it on PC at the same time.
I think it might be a PS5 exclusive. I know people
might
be
like
iffy
how
about
Final
that,
Fantasy
but
16 is. Fortunately.
We'll see.
I've got a feeling it'll be for current and well, I guess technically last gen consoles in the current gen. I don't think it'll be an exclusive for PlayStation 5 or just in general next gen. Even like Sony exclusives, even those are going and doing PS4 releases as well. So it seems like most other games are going to follow that trend.
I bet that like Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 is probably going to do that too, because Intergrade was a PS5 exclusive. It didn't need to be at all whatsoever, but they just did it just because they were selling a console. Hey, buy the console for this. But I feel like Part 2 is going to be, because we haven't even had a trailer for that, I feel like that's going to be exclusive. And I think Final Fantasy 16 is a PS5 exclusive too, so pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to mass produce PS5s to make that work. Because there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
That's where I feel.
Yeah, let's be honest. Majority of people do not have a PS5. We either have a PC or a PS4.
Including
and even PCs at times are hard to get, especially for like a pretty good one. And like, it's just they have to do mass production on the PS5 because, like I said, nobody really has a PS5, just a select few people.
Right.
And there's also that chip shortages that's been happening for a few years. That's also been happening. Yeah. And, with the Corona, COVID, all that, that's also, the outsourcing and all that. It's just giant kerfuffle. It's just everything bad happening at the same time, which is why also demand and scalpers and all that too. But
yeah, scalpers is huge.
I will buy it for this game though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If I could find one.
Right.
Because as soon as it gets a release date, they're gonna go up.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree. We have about 2 minutes left. So any last words? Does anyone have anything else they want to say?
Roxas versus Yuzora 2022.
Yeah, right. Dual wielding keyblades versus crossbow and sword. absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing's
We're
coming
never
to
getting
mind.
a Kyrie game.
Oh,
hopefully, I would love one, but she has Sakura syndrome.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it's not going away anytime soon.
I feel like a Roxas one would happen before Kyrie one.
Yeah, and that's just sad. I mean, Kyrie
I'd
been
still
around
take
since
both,
the beginning.
but...
Yeah, of course. I mean,
the last thing and only other thing I can really think of is like I feel like now Sora became the lingering will.
In terms of power,
picked up a few of
definitely.
his abilities.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Maybe like I was actually talking to Pajama Let's Plays about this. Is maybe when you know how inside of the Remind not trailer, but the Remind gameplay, we know that the lingering will basically sacrificed himself for Sora, right? And he jumped in the way of Xehanort's attack. Maybe, and we know that his state of mind is inside of the Keyblade armor. Maybe they slightly grown their own heart. You know what I mean? And kind of like how Roxas and Axel did. So maybe a piece of his heart went off into Sora. And that's why he has the Keyblade transformations he does. Because everybody's Keyblade transformations are unique to that person and to that Keyblade. So how come he does the same exact thing that Xehanort does? Because if you remember inside of Kingdom Hearts 3, when Lingering Will was fighting Xehanort, his Keyblade grappled onto Xehanort's Keyblade, just like how Sora did. Yeah, so that's up in the air as well. So
gotcha. Nice. Well, I'm Axel. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I do hope to do this in the future.
Of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
definitely.
We can do this again.
May your heart be your guiding key.
Yeah, right.
And happy gaming.
Took the words right from my mouth. Got it memorized?
Exactly.
All right.
How can you not have it memorized at this point?